What's going on? We are back for another late night show. Joe and I here, 11:50 on the East Coast. Joe's got a fresh Dunkin' Donuts coffee in hand. He just took a little trip down the road, picked one up real quick, and we are rolling. We just had a Thursday night game watching Carson Wentz basically with one arm, trying to move around. It was pretty ugly. Chargers get a bounce back win. After struggling last week, they get the win 37-10. We're going to go through that game real quick. Some interesting things happen in this game, specifically Oronde Gaston keeps it going. We're going to get into all of it. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, sharing, hitting that notification button. If you have any questions, let us know. Our boy Jamie is in the chat. Welcome, Jamie. How long are you going to stick around with us tonight, bro? We will see. It's good to have Jamie here. We'll see if we get anybody else in the show tonight. But, yeah. We're here with Joe Carlton, Fantasy Savvy on X. Joe is at Points by Hand Carlton. We're going to come back. We'll get into all of it. Picks, props, fantasy, whatever you want. Here we go. What's up, my man? How you doing tonight?
I'm all right. I'm good. A little tired tonight, but we'll get through it once we get talking about the games and stuff. I'm sure I'll be fine.
Yeah, and you got the coffee. You should light you up a little bit. So, Jamie says he's about to fall asleep, but he'll be here. All right, let's talk about the game from tonight. And, first, Quentin Johnson takes a donut. So I'll ask you this, Joe. Gatson gets 5 for 77 and another touchdown. So he's looking like a force now. He's looking like a consistent force that we could pretty much, feel pretty good about in our fantasy lineups going forward. Do you think? And then we're seeing Ladd take a step up now. Keenan Allen's kind of taking a step back. So how do you see this passing game going forward with Ladd, Gatson, Allen, and QJ? Do you still think it's going to be kind of a mix, or do you think there's, these two guys, Ladd and Gatson, are kind of going to be the two guys to target the rest of the way?
Well, it's hard to say because I think we saw them kind of beat up on Minnesota, and the Minnesota's offense had no signs of life to try to keep this a game. So there was no chance for like QJ to, he kind of got game scripted out. Ladd was the was the most targeted wide receiver. Keenan Allen, he had some first down catches, but, Gadsden, it was nice to see Gadsden get 5+ catches because I was a little bit worried about if he was going to get consistent production going forward.
Yeah.
With QJ coming back. But now we're talking 3 consecutive games now where Gadsden has been a focal point. So I think QJ is taking a step back. And I think he's going to be more of a touchdown-dependent play going forward. I think Ladd gives you a most consistent floor. I mean, he can get you 10 to 15 points without finding the end zone. Keenan Allen will have, his 4 to 8 point games, and then he'll also have those games like last week where he has, over 7. He had 11 receptions, but we'll just use 7 as a baseline and, get you that floor game. So that's kind of how I see it playing out. Vidal looks really good. Again, Minnesota kind of sucks against the run, but especially with they didn't have Van Ginkel again tonight, right? I didn't hear his name called at all.
Yeah, he wasn't out there now.
Without Van Ginkel, that run defense is just terrible, especially, it was kind of obvious the Chargers were going to come out and run in the second half, and they still couldn't stop it. So Vidal looks pretty good. Herbert continues to throw, he got another 3 touchdown passes today. Coming into the game, I think the Chargers were number 1 in the league for pass attempts per game as a team. So for anybody who thought they were going to be a running team and got that way wrong, man. And I was kind of on that card for a little while.
Yeah, I remember you asked me when we took Herbert, you're like, are you worried about them running? I'm like, no.
Yeah, no, I mean, Yeah, I mean they are the top passing team in the NFL as far as attempts go. So,
but that of course, that happened partly because they lost their running backs and they lost their offensive linemen, so they were kind of forced to pass more than they even wanted to. But they have the weapons to do it. Herbert also ran for 62 yards in this game. You mentioned Vidal, yeah, he surprised me. I really wasn't expecting that performance from him. 23 for 117 and a touchdown. So he looks pretty solid going forward. Ladd had 10 targets, Gatson 5 targets, Allen 5 targets. Vidal catches 1 for 10. Trey Harris 2 for 8 and a touchdown. We'll see if Trey Harris maybe, I don't know. He's still a rookie. QJ's probably over him, obviously, still going forward. It just wasn't a QJ game. I still think you feel pretty good about QJ. He's had a pretty good, season so far. What is it? This is like his first bad game of the year. So I just wonder, maybe with Gatson and Ladd, kind of who was the guy last year, maybe it kicks QJ out a little bit and maybe just a little bit more inconsistent the rest of the way. We'll have to see how it plays out. But how about on the other side with Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason? That was a freaking disaster tonight if you started those guys, which I did in a couple leagues.
Yeah, no, I left. I had Aaron Jones come back and I left him on the bench. I have him on one team, and it's actually the worst running back room that I have. But Dowdle kind of saved it. I think I played Dowdle and the hell was my other running back? I didn't force him in there. I wanted to wait a week. I wasn't sure what his usage was going to be, and I kind of had a feeling the Chargers were going to beat them up pretty good. So.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a little bit closer. I thought it would be a little bit, like Minnesota would put at least 20 on the board, but Wentz was just laboring out there. He was like, he couldn't even move. He was like, he didn't play a good game at all. It was a rough game for him. His left arm was like banged up. He kept getting hit. Chargers had Khalil Mack back this week. He was hitting them. And it's pretty much over for Wentz, I would think at this point. They should be moving on to JJ, or maybe, if JJ's still not ready, maybe they give this kid Brosmer a shot. I mean, how many more times can you go to Carson Wentz? I mean, especially after today, he looks all banged up. So I think it's, about time to move back to JJ. I would think O'Connell would want to get him in back as soon as possible. Addison gets into the end zone, 3 for 26 and a touchdown. Justin Jefferson, 7 for 74 and 11 targets. Hawkinson just 2 for 26. Aaron Jones, 2 for 15 through the air. And then Jordan Mason catches just 1 ball for 3 yards. So, Chargers move to 5-3. Vikings are now 3-4. And, they're going to have to get some wins soon because it's a tough division there. Bears are, got a winning record. You still got to deal with the Packers and, the Lions, obviously. So I actually picked the Vikings to win this division. That's not looking so hot right now. But maybe JJ could come back and could kind of spark it. But I don't know. Even Flores' defense has been getting roasted a little bit the past couple of weeks, especially in the passing game. He seems to leave his corners on an island a little too much. And we saw what Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown did last week. And then Ladd also caught a nice pass down the sideline who beat the corner one-on-one too. So, he likes to bring that pressure, and he kind of relies on his corners, and he got a little bit too risky. So, all right, we got a question here from Hang20. Says, "Hi, if I have Dak, is it worth to trade BTJ for Lamar?"
I don't know how you feel about that, Steve.
If I have Dak, I mean, if you have Dak, I would just keep it, right?
Yeah, I guess so. It'd be nice if you didn't have Dak and you had quarterback issues. I'd probably make that trade, but
why would you need Lamar? Is it a super flex league? I don't know.
If it's probably not, otherwise, if it's a super flex league, that's a smash, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think that there's better days ahead for BTJ. You just gotta be patient with him and just you got to put him in there. You drafted him early on. There's no way you can just give up on him, especially if you have Dak. I mean, Dak's pretty good going forward.
Yeah, I would just stick with Dak there, buddy. Pick up CJ Reflex WZ says pick up CJ Stroud or Marcus Mariota from our QB1 this week, since my QB is on a bye 14-man league and QBs are very limited.
I would say CJ Stroud probably, and it's not even because of a better week. I mean, are you only using him for this week? I think CJ Stroud's a better pickup in general because at least you have him for the rest of the year. Mariota is not necessarily going to be
Couple
there
weeks,
for you.
Plus,
yeah,
he's playing the Chiefs. The totals of 47.5. Mariota has been pretty good. Stroud obviously has struggled the last couple years, but the 49ers, they're kind of banged up still on defense. It's not a terrible matchup, 41.5. I think I'd probably go with Stroud too.
I mean, if it's just a 1 week thing,
yeah,
and you got his quarterback is on a bye. Okay, so yeah, then I think I would go. I didn't read the second part of the question, but I think I lean Mariota then if your quarterback is on a bye. I mean, they're going to be getting garbage points, I think, at the very least. If not,
47.5 total.
Yeah.
So and you're getting Debo and McLaurin back too, which helps. So yeah, I don't mind Mariota. I mean, either one, I think it might be kind of close. Mariota is going to get you more rushing yards, which is always good. And he's been good in that offense. So
I would say Mariota's got a bit of a higher ceiling just for this week.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm with you. Jamie says, what do you think I should sell Gadsden for in Dynasty now? I have 16 shares that I got super late. 4th rounder free off waivers.
I guess you could sell some of them.
Yeah, I know. Jamie's in like 97 Dynasty leagues, but it's still a lot of shares.
I have 3. I'm in 3 Dynasty leagues, and I have 2 shares.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, I'm in 3. I haven't been 1, and Ernie's still pissed at me for that, but I don't know what you're gonna get. It depends on what you need, Jamie. Whatever you need. What is a tight end premium league? Like, there's a lot of variables to that.
I think you probably get a second plus. I don't know if you can get it.
Are you looking for picks? Yeah, you could definitely get a second round. 30 Dynasty leagues. Yeah, I was exaggerating, bro. I was. No, you're not. I know you're not in 97 leagues, but yeah, second rounder if you want to do it, or I don't know, trade for a. Is there a positional player you can think off the top of your head that maybe you could snag for Gaston right now, wide receiver, running back, and maybe people are a high end player that people are down on a little bit, something like that too.
Would you trade Gadsden for Jordan Addison in Dynasty?
Yeah, I mean, I think that 100% I would do that.
That's the first name that came to mind.
Yeah, I would do it depending on my team if I needed receivers or whatnot. Again, it all depends on your team. But yeah, I mean, Addison's a great. It's just, do you believe in McCarthy or not? I think I still believe in McCarthy. So yeah, I would do that. All right. Yes. Let's talk about the first game of the week. It's going to be Dolphins-Falcons. Hang on here a sec. Actually, let's just get this game out of the way first. Let's talk about the Jets and the Bengals. We don't know if Tyrod or Fields is starting. I don't have any picks in this game. I'm just staying away from this game. But Flacco, I like using. Flacco, obviously maybe he busted his nut a little bit. And, that Thursday night game against the Steelers, we may never see him perform to that level the rest of the year. The Jets defense has been better the past couple of weeks against Denver and Carolina, but you have T. Higgins, you have Jamar Chase. There's going to be no Sauce Gardner on the other side for the Jets. We don't know. Again, we don't know who the hell the quarterback is. It's going to be, but either whoever the quarterback is, they're going to be giving Cincinnati plenty of possession. So Flacco is still a good start. You're obviously throwing Higgins and Chase out there. Even Chase Brown, you feel a little bit better about. What about Noah Fant in this matchup?
It's maybe. I don't know. I'd have to see his receiving line, his receiving yards line. I actually, if I'm kind of feeling a Chase Brown anytime touchdown in this one.
Yeah, Jets are 23rd worst against tight ends. Ingram had 42 yards. Jake Ferguson had 7 for 49, 2 touchdowns. Fan hasn't been bad. This is not like it's going to be a total high volume game for the Bengals, probably not like last week. So you're right. Chase Brown could fall into the end zone at least once, maybe twice in this one. Chase and Higgins are going to get looks from Flacco. As far as the Jets, I don't know, man. Garrett Wilson doesn't look like he's playing. Once again, forget about all the receivers. Mason Taylor's even banged up. Breece Hall is a little bit banged up. He'll probably find a way to get out there. The Bengals are the best matchup, or one of the best matchups for running backs. Actually, the best matchup for running backs and tight ends. But how do you feel about Breece Hall in this game, knowing how inept this Jets offense is right now?
I know. I still can't figure out why they aren't trying to make Breece Hall the focal point of the offense and at least get him going, so that maybe something else can open up. I do know that the Bengals gave up 4 touchdowns to the tight end last week, right, against Pittsburgh. So maybe Mason.
They've been hideous against tight ends.
Yeah, maybe Mason Taylor. I mean, but I saw Mason Taylor was limited at practice.
Yeah, I just mentioned that. Yeah, he's banged up, so we don't know.
So
we don't know if he's going to be out there. You're not going to put Jeremy Ruckert in your lineup.
No, but if Mason Taylor's active, I like him, and I Breece Hall should, at least get enough volume to give you 10 to 15 fantasy points.
Yeah, he got a little bit banged up last game. He left the end of the first half, and then he came back to start the half. But it's just they're not run blocking. Their offense is not, their quarterback's not throwing the ball. The receivers aren't creating any separation. It's just been, a huge disaster. I mean, if you have better options than Breece Hall, I don't mind it, but the matchup is good. They should be throwing a lot. Maybe Tyrod comes in or Fields gets smart and just takes some dump downs. Maybe they create some more design passes for him. So I don't feel terrible about using Breece, but I just don't know how much he's really going to give you. Maybe 15 points. Taylor, if he's out there, maybe 10 points. It's not a terrible start. Even with the matchup, and how bad the Bengals have been against tight ends, I still don't know how I even feel about it. But yeah, they've allowed league-high 9 touchdowns to the tight end and the most yards as well, 536, and the second most catches with 48. But no picks in this game for Joe and I. All right, next game, let's talk about Buffalo, Carolina. Buffalo's coming out of the bye. They dropped two straight before the bye to New England and Atlanta. Carolina gets 3 wins in a row. Miami 27-24, Dallas 30-27. And then last week against the Jets 13-6. Bryce Young looks like he's going to be out for this game. It's going to be the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton. Xavier Legette had a nice game with Dalton. Teteroa McMillan has kind of been, he's not paying off that ADP just yet. He's been decent for fantasy, but nothing like you expected if you drafted him that high. Jalen Coker came back last week, didn't do anything. Jatavian Sanders came back last week, didn't do anything. And then Rico Dowdle and Chuba kind of split it. Rico had a little more production, looked a little bit better as well. So how do you feel about the Carolina offense? Do you think, maybe Dalton and Legette have found something here, or do you feel decent about using Legette in this matchup? 47.5 total looks like.
When is Jalen Coker gonna finally emerge? I'm always worried about Legette. Every time I start to believe in Legette, he throws up a dud. So I don't know if I can trust Legette. I did see some people pick them up on the waivers this week.
Yeah, I don't trust him.
I don't trust him, but I mean, he might give you a floor game. I mean, Buffalo should win this game pretty handedly. So again, maybe he gets, second half garbage points. I do think that we're going to see more Rico Dowdle this week. I don't think it's going to be complete Rico Dowdle, but I think it's going to be less of a split than last week. I think they have to, Dowdle was clearly the more productive running back, and I think they have to go with that. Especially if they have any chance to take on Buffalo, give Buffalo a game. I don't think Andy Dalton is going to have all that many pass attempts. I think that Buffalo is shitty against the run, and Andy Dalton isn't the greatest quarterback in the world. He'd probably throw a pick if he has too many pass attempts. And they do have Hubbard and Dowdle both. They both should get carries. I think that, it's going to be a hot hand approach, and I think that that's going to favor Dowdle. That's kind of why I'm on Dowdle. I think you could see Dowdle go over 15 carries, and then maybe Chuba somewhere between 10 and 15. And they're going to do that as long as they can, but as long as they're not getting blown out like 27-6 or something at some point, then they'll have to pass. But I think that Carolina is going to try to run as much as they possibly can.
Yeah, Bills allowing a league high 5.4 yards per carry, second most touchdowns with 8. They're coming out of the bye, though. Obviously, that's been a kind of a weakness for the Bills, like in this McDermott era. They kind of sometimes bounce back. They look better. They play a lot of nickels, so they have like those corners, and a lot of defenses are doing that now. But for whatever reason, his defense seems to always get punished on the ground. But maybe he comes out of the bye, he adjusts a little bit. He has some adjustments. I know their rookie corner that they drafted from Kentucky, he's not quite back yet. Hairston. I think they opened the window for him, but I don't think he's going to be back for this game. But you got to think the Bills, coming off the bye, 2 straight losses. This is like a get right game for them, especially going against the Panthers, who have won 3 straight. So before I make my pick, you mentioned Hubbard and Dowdle a little bit. Are you going to use both running backs in this game, or you just feel more comfortable using Dowdle?
I'm thinking that I'm starting both if I have them. Unless I got better options, but most people don't go running back heavy. They either go hero or zero. So I'm thinking as long as you don't have a running back heavy build, you can probably rely on both in this game. I think they both get enough work. Like I said, I think that if Hubbard, if it looks like anything like it does last week as far as production goes, I think as the game goes on, you're going to see more Rico Dowdle than more of whoever's being effective. I think it's going to be more of a hot hand approach going forward.
Yeah, and whoever is being utilized is going to be effective in the pass game as well, because they do throw their backs a lot in that system. So, yeah, I mean, one of them may get erased in this game. We'll have to see. I don't mind using both if you have one or the other, Hubbard or Dowdle, even though they're going to share. And on the Bills side, how do we see their offense operating on the way back? Do you think it's going to be a lot of James Cook? Do you think they're going to kind of condense this passing game a little bit more, like more Shakir, more Kincaid, a little bit less of the other guys?
I actually like Kincaid. This is a nice matchup for Kincaid.
It is, yep.
And I think it's going to be Kincaid and James Cook. Shakir might have, like 3 to 5 receptions for 40, 50 yards.
Usual, yeah.
Yeah. I don't see it being a Shakir game. Keon Coleman, we can't rely on at all. He had one good game at the beginning of the year, and then he hasn't done much since. And we know that when Buffalo faces an inferior opponent like Carolina, using a backup quarterback in a team that they're just far more talented than, we usually see a lot of James Cook in those games. So I'm anticipating a lot of James Cook. Yeah, I think a James Cook anytime touchdown is pretty much a shoe-in. You'd probably not get the greatest of odds, but I think that's a pretty safe bet for this game.
Yeah, Panthers leaked some points to the tight end this year, 4 for 59 against Brenton Strange. McBride, 6 for 78. Hunter Henry scored on him. Darren Waller had a big game, 5 for 78 and a touchdown. Jake Ferguson also scored as well. And last week, Mason Taylor, 3 for 31. But obviously the Jets are a hot mess. So, yeah, I like Kincaid. I feel like he's kind of been the guy. He missed the game prior. He was hurt. He should be back for this game. He should be healthy. I think we may see this passing game, kind of get a little more creative. It's kind of been, kind of simple. Maybe they try some new things and maybe condense it down a little bit. We'll see. But, yeah, I like Kincaid. I like the Bills actually in this game, -7. And Kincaid's prop is 36.5. I'm going to take that as well, -118. I just think he's kind of been Allen's guy all year. I think that's going to continue. I think the Bills kind of roll here against Andy Dalton. I mean, if they lose to Andy, or if this game is close against Andy Dalton, I know the Panthers have been playing good football, but if this game is close and the Bills come off a bye and don't really show out here, that's very, very concerning. So I expect them to kind of get the job done and get a rolling W here. And like Joe mentioned, that's going to be good for James Cook. 100%.
Yeah, put me down for a James Cook anytime touchdown. You can. I'll give you the Kincaid. You can have the Kincaid one.
All right. Yeah, I don't know the odds on the Cook, but we'll look that up.
I can check. I suppose.
It's probably got some. It's probably juiced up a little bit. I mean, this could be a 2-touchdown game from James Cook. Maybe you want to take a.
It could be. Yeah.
You could take that too. This is a good spot to take that type of bet. All right, next game, San Francisco versus Houston. We touched on C.J. Stroud a little bit before. C.J. Stroud played on that late Monday night game that ended 1:15 in the morning, losing to Seattle 27-19. Stroud has just not looked the same the last 2 years, not really getting the protection. He's had some injuries at the wide receiver position, especially last year, obviously. This year, Nico went down, but kind of later in the game. But it was good to see a guy like Jalen Noel step up, and we're kind of waiting for one of these rookies to step up. Noel was kind of the guy in this game, had 70 yards receiving, was a popular pickup on the wire this week as well. So with Nico out with the concussion, or, we're expecting him to be out at least. I know you like Dalton Schultz a lot in this matchup, but how do you feel about Jalen Noel?
I think Jalen Noel is also going to be a target hog. I think you're going to see a lot of Noel and Dalton Schultz. Yeah, I think I can agree with you on that one, Steve.
I know Schultz is a little bit banged up, but I think he's going to be out there. I like Jalen Noel again.
I like Woody Mox too. I think Woody Mox will be involved in this type of game script. I think Nick Chubb is when they're playing with the lead, or in inferior a sucky run defense. Yeah. San Fran's pretty decent against the run on the inside. So, and Woody Mox is their pass catcher, and I think, like you said, if Schultz is banged up or San Fran decides to kind of shut it. I mean, I know San Fran's historically been good against the tight end, but I think the last couple of weeks they've given up some production to tight ends. So it could be.
Speaking of tight ends, let's just get to Reflex's question real quick. Then we'll get back to this game. Start Harold Fannin or Evan Ingram this week?
I probably still lean Fannin. Ingram's got a great matchup, though. I do. Ingram's gonna provide a nice floor. But it's hard to not go with Fannin while Njoku is still missing time.
Yeah, you were mentioning the other night that the Patriots allow the tight end to go off a little bit.
They do. They kind of let the tight end roam open. It's one thing I've noticed.
Kincaid had 108. Tommy Tremble had 5 for 42 and a touchdown. Mitchell Evans even caught a touchdown. 3. Who the hell is that? 3 for 23 and a touchdown. Gunnar Helm had 4 for 36 last week. Yeah, I think I'm going with Fannin as well. Like Joe said, with Njoku continuing to be out. Last week was kind of a really shitty weather game. Should open up a little bit more this week for Fannin. I know he didn't do a ton last week. Our boy Al says, "Sup? What's up, Al? Welcome back to the show, man. Once again, we always appreciate seeing your name. Of course, Jamie as well. Jamie, you still with us, man, or did you conk out over there? Let us know. You've been kind of quiet tonight. All right, back to the Texans 49ers. It looks like we may get freaking Mac Jones again. Brock Purdy is I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be in this game. Kittle gives you a donut last week, but we did see CMC run better. Now that Kittle's back blocking a little bit more holes, so CMC gets even better now. I took that under receiving prop because Atlanta had only allowed, 68 yards total. I didn't bet it, but I made it official on the show, and I think CMC ended up with 77 receiving yards. He's just an absolute machine in fantasy once again. Juwan Jennings, I think he's getting a little bit healthier. We saw Bourne kind of get erased last week. How do you see this game going for the 49ers on offense?
Obviously CMC is going to continue to do his thing. You would think Kittle's going to get involved. I think this is going to be a low scoring game all around. I think Houston's defense has been pretty good, especially at home.
42 total in this game.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm confident enough to bet the under, but as one of my picks, but if I do think it's
do it. San Fran, Houston under. Let's go, bro. Take it.
Yeah, all right, fine. You convinced me.
All right, I was going to say, drop a pretty penny on that one too.
Two units? No. No. Yeah. So the San Fran offense has been weird for me. I can't get a good read on anybody who's going to perform outside of CMC. Kendrick Bourne kind of got shut off last week. So maybe look for him to have a bounce back game. I don't know. When he played for the Patriots, he had like 2 or 3 games where he put together real good, and then defenses started keying in on him, and then he became inconsistent. So I don't know if I'm totally confident in a bounce back game, but I think that I'm only confident in playing CMC for fantasy purposes. Maybe Juwan Jennings. He's another week healthier.
Yeah,
he hasn't been limited at all in practice this week, so I think I'm most confident in him as far as the wide receivers go.
It's not a great matchup. I mean, the Texans got really good corners.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think this is going to be I think I'm going to like the under. Yeah.
What about Kittle in this game? I mean, a donut last week. You'd have to expect him to kind of get back on the. Get back off the schneid this week and, get something going, maybe a 5 for 50 at least, right?
What was his snap? I got to take a look and see how many snaps he actually played.
I'm sure he played a decent amount of snaps. It's just how many routes did he run? It's probably the better thing to look at. But, there's not a lot of guys. You got Kendrick Bourne. You got a banged up freaking Juwan Jennings. George Kittle is still a really good receiving tight end. It was his first game back. That kind of was a weird game. They kind of had control of that game. They didn't really need to pass a lot, but this game is not a game where they're not going to really need to pass a lot either. So, I don't see a monster game from him, but I could still see him getting like 4 for 40 and a touchdown, something like that.
So yeah, he ran 22 routes and played 84% of the snaps. So he was out there. I mean, yeah, it maybe take a week. So most guys take a week to get back to fantasy production. So yeah, I would anticipate him being worked in more this week.
But I mean, you drafted Kittle, 3rd round? So you were waiting on him for this long. You're putting him in your lineup.
Yeah, he was the best value out of the elite group, and he's turned out to be a bust so far. I mean,
Bowers, Kittle, both been brutal, and I have a decent amount of Bowers, and I have a decent amount of Kittle too. So I you know what? I mean, I used to be like a wait on tight end guy, and then I was like, all right, well, the elite tight ends are elite, and there's only a few, so you want to get some of them. Now I'm like, screw it. Like, I'm just going to wait on tight end every single year. I don't know if I'll ever go up for a tight end anymore. Like, once in a while I will. I'm not going to say never, but it's just, I mean, look how many freaking good tight ends there are this year. It's incredible. So it seems like now in the NFL, you know, we're starting to see the last couple of years, there's more and more tight ends who are a little bit more capable of receiving. You know, whereas in the past it was always kind of a select few. I think we're starting to see an uptrend and more productive tight ends, and I think that's going to continue down the line.
Yeah, you know, ever since I started buying into Dan Williamson's tight end philosophy, I've been listening to him for a few years now, and every year that goes by, I've gotten closer to the wait on tight end strategy. Now, this year I was avoiding Bowers because I didn't think he was worth where he was going, first round, second round. I have a couple of McBrides. Kittle, I was in on Kittle when he was in the 5th round, but once he jumped into the 4th and the 3rd, like he was going at that 3-4 turn, especially in tight end premium leagues, he was in the 3rd round. I was off of him.
But I mean, if Kittle didn't get hurt,
I get that.
Yeah.
But here's the reason why. I was huge on Ty Warren coming in.
Yeah, I was too.
I was huge. I thought Tucker Kraft was going to do exactly what he's doing. Yeah. And Arande Gadsden, Harold Fannin, both of those guys I was taking shots on late. Yeah. Not everywhere, but when I didn't score a McBride, or one thing's for sure, I wasn't taking anybody in the middle rounds. Like, I know that's where Ferguson went. The people who got Ferguson there scored, but I wasn't taking much Njoku or I was either taking McBride or I was waiting until Tucker Kraft and Ty Warren were in like the 10th round. I got a lot of Ty Warren in the 10th round.
This is my tight end breakdown. I'm looking at NFC. I have 50% Harold Fannin, 23% Tucker Kraft, Kincaid I have 17%, Kittle 15%, Tyler Warren 10%, Bowers 8%, McBride 6%, and I have Gatson 15%. But obviously I had to pick him up. I didn't draft him in any leagues. I only picked him up. But yeah, I mean, I did take a lot of Kraft. I took a decent amount of Tyler Warren too. It's just that, I did take, when you take Bowers and, he doesn't do anything because he's hurt, it just kills you. Kittle too. And then like we were saying, man, Dan Williamson's on it. Like, I used to do the same thing. I used to always kind of fade tight ends. Then I kind of like fluctuate though. Like, sometimes I'll do it. For the most part, I like to wait. Thought Tucker Kraft was a great value this year. He has been a great value. And I think going forward, I'm just going to really hesitate, even more so, and just wait on tight ends even more. I think it's going to get more and more prevalent as we keep going down the line here.
So I got 33% Gadsden, 25% Tyler Warren, 25% Harold Fannin, 25% Tucker Kraft, 16.7% McBride.
Nice.
And then I have same thing, 16% Mark Andrews and Evan Ingram. But I wasn't, once I grabbed the 2 shares of Mark Andrews that I had, that was it. I wasn't overdrafting him. Same thing with Ingram. I took a couple and then shut it down. Couple of Hunter Henrys.
Yeah, I have 15% Andrews too. He's been shitty. 8% Hawkinson, that hasn't worked out. Njoku 3%. Ingram I only have 6%. Kelsey 2% or 4%. All right, let's keep it going. Next game here, a little bit tight end talk. I like that little sequence there. And let's talk about Giants Philly. This is going to be a rematch for the Giants here. I mean, the rematch for these two teams played a few weeks ago, and the Giants won 34-17. Jackson Dart. It was kind of his coming out party. You know, I think people are going a little too crazy over Jackson Dart. You know, he's obviously a playmaker. He's obviously a hell of an athlete. He's still missing a lot of throws. He's still making some big time mistakes. He's a rookie. What do you expect? And he's got no weapons. He's got no neighbors. He's throwing to Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt. You know, he's got Cam Scatterball. That's a nice weapon. And I think Dable does a pretty decent job of scheming some things up for him as well. But Philadelphia here, you know, coming off a, nice game from Jalen Hurts, beating the Vikings in Minnesota 28-22 after dropping 2 straight, getting back in the winner's circle. Now at a rematch game, how do you see this game going? And do you think that Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith keep it rolling? Or do you think that Saquon finally could have a little bit of a breakout game? We've been kind of waiting for it. It's just not happening.
I know. I still think that they're gonna that Jalen Hurts is gonna pass. Saquon maybe if Philadelphia can build a lead. I'm interested on the Giants side of the ball to see how Wan'Dale does, because 2 weeks ago he went 6 for 84 and a touchdown, 20 fantasy points against Philadelphia. Now we're in Philly. So it's a completely different story. I've been him and Horan, whether or not I want to flex him, because he's I have a lot of teams where I have a decision to make with him. So I'm wondering how he's going to do. I do think that, I don't think Philly's just going to completely shut down the Giants. We know the Giants have got life with Jackson Dart. I think it could be a pretty competitive game. I'm still leaning Philadelphia winning the game outright, though. And I like Devonta Smith. I was trying to see. I was on DraftKings earlier looking for the data. They haven't put up any receiving lines yet on Philadelphia, so I don't know what the baseline is for Devonta Smith, but
I'll pull it up for you. Go ahead.
That's I think it's going to be. I like Devonta Smith a little bit more than I like A.J. Brown in this matchup. And let me see, Saquon. Yeah, I mean, you would like to think Saquon's going to get going, but we've been waiting and waiting.
Yeah, I don't see Devonta Smith either. He's not on this. I'm on Hard Rock. I don't see him. I see A.J. Brown 66.5. I don't see Devonta Smith. I don't know why.
Yeah. That's because he's the guy that you want to bet on. They don't want to give him to you yet.
Yeah. They're still having meetings on what his line's going to be. I'll tell you, man, this Hard Rock Casino, they're smart. They're doing really well too. Like, I think they're one of the best casinos in Atlantic City too right now, profit wise. So they're actually they're doing a really good job. And they got the Florida market like on lock. There's no other casinos out here besides Hard Rock.
So the Giants are much better against the run than they are against the pass. So yeah, I think this could be another Jalen Hurts game, and I like Devonta Smith just because of the gap between the cornerback 1 and the quarterback 2 for the Giants. I was looking at some of the matchups earlier.
Yeah, Saquon last time he played the Giants in his revenge game, or he's had a couple of these already now. This is his 4th time, 4th revenge game, 12 for 58. Giants are actually second worst against fantasy running backs. So maybe Saquon gets off here. We'll see. But either way, I think the Eagles are going to come out. Revenge game. I think Dart's going to struggle a little bit more in this game. I could see him throwing maybe 1 or 2 picks, maybe fumbling. The weapons are there. It was kind of a miracle game last week. You had that lucky Theo Johnson touchdown. There was like a bunch of penalties they got to get down the field constantly in that game. They had a ton of possessions because the Broncos weren't doing anything on offense for 3 quarters, and they weren't really scoring. So the Broncos had a chance there to squeak out, and then he threw that bad pick with like what was like 4 minutes left to give that Broncos that good field position. So I think Philly's going to come out strong in this one. I'm going to take Philly to cover in this game, -7.
Nice. I'm gonna stay away from the spread. I don't know if Philly will, because the Giants have just been, they're not going away. They they built a huge, they put up 26 points against Denver's defense before their own defense shit themselves.
Yeah, but like I said, like they had that lucky Theo Johnson. Wandale dropped it, and Theo Johnson ran it in for like 40 yards. And there was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 penalties like that gave the Giants a ton of yards. So, their offense it was okay. I think the points look a little bit better than what it really was. But I have the Eagles winning by like 9 points. So I'm going to take them 9-10 points. I'm going to take them -7 here.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Cam Scatterbo has been great. I mean, he just looks awesome as a receiver. Tracy had that was the other play. Tracy had a touchdown, but it was like a wide open hole. So, but otherwise, I thought he came back. He looked, this was his second game back. He's looking a little bit better. He's getting some usage. Are you using Tracy in this game?
I've been trying to figure that out because I have him on one of my dynasty teams, and there's like, it's a stat 2 tight end, and then there's 4 flex spots. It's like really deep. It's only 12 teams, but the starting lineups is deep, and I'm considering putting them in because it's a deep league like that as my 4th flex. It's between him and Luke McCaffrey, and I know that, but I'm thinking that Luke McCaffrey sucked last week because he was the number 1 wide receiver. With Debo and McLaurin back, maybe he's got that like random big play in him. So all it takes is him getting in the end zone, and that he probably outproduced Tracy because Scatterboo's getting all the touchdowns for the Giants. Like you said, Tracy kind of got one last week, but it was just a random play that
it was a wide open hole, basically untouched. He ran like 30 yards.
But I agree with you, Steve. He does look like he's got that burst back. He looks healthy. Maybe that maybe this week he does get more run, but it's hard to rely on him in fantasy on like a normal 12 team stat 2 running backs, 1 flex type of lineup. So I'm probably not playing him. Unless it's out of necessity.
Yeah, I think it's like Wandale, Dart, Cam, Theo Johnson. I think you should have some better options. Obviously, using Saquon and the 2 receivers. Goddard had a bad game last week.
When the 2 wide receivers produce, Goddard's off the menu. I always say, I've been saying.
Although he's had some good games this year. Oh, when they produce, yeah.
When they're being used, when they're being when AJ Brown and Devonta Smith are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Jalen Hurts, Goddard's always off the menu in my opinion.
I mean, he's been pretty consistent this year. I mean, I don't know. It depends. Again, there's so many freaking good tight ends to utilize this year. I mean, there's Fannin, you got Warren, you got Kraft, so it's like Goddard is just like kind of an athlete. Even Kincaid's coming back this week. Andrews is coming back this week. So, I don't think you need to use Goddard. I don't see a big time game from him. Maybe 5 for 50, something like that. Once again, like I just, he's kind of hard to trust. Let me see what he did against the Giants last game.
The Giants are 12th in the league against the tight end.
Actually, he did have a monster game against them last time. 26 fantasy points, 9 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. So if you want to use them, I'm not going to hate it. I just feel like there's probably better options. Goddard's just, for me, is like, he's just hard to trust, but he's been healthy this year. So if he's healthy the rest of the way, he's going to finish pretty high and have a pretty damn good season. All right, let's keep it moving here. Cleveland versus your boys, the Patriots. First off, do you see this as a trap game Any chance coming off 4 straight wins?
A little bit. I do. Yeah, I was looking at the sportsbook earlier, and I was just thinking to myself, man, I think I'm not going to touch this game at all as far as player props. I don't know who is going to be leaned on here from the Patriots. The Browns defense is really good against the run. I don't know how confident and I feel in Ramondre, as good as he's looked. I think Drake May is going to have to kind of do his thing in this game in order for the Patriots to get a comfortable win. But I don't think it's going to be all that comfortable. I have a feeling this is going to be a close game.
You want to take the under in this game?
What is
40
what
and a
is
half?
It?
40 and a half.
I lean towards it, but no, I don't think I want to take it as one of my.
I mean, how many points do you see the Browns scoring in this game? I mean, are they going to get more than 13 points? New England. I mean, they allowed 19 to New Orleans, 13 last week to Tennessee, just 13 to the Panthers. Held the Bills to 20. Yeah, I mean, they could get 13, 16. I would lean under too. I'm not going to make it a pick. I was tempted to take the Patriots too, but I don't know. I just feel like the Browns may play some D here. Maybe they turn Drake May over maybe once or twice, make some big plays. But I do feel like it just could be an ugly field goal game. I actually kind of like the under. I may make it official here. But I do like the Ramondre anytime touchdown minus 120. I think that's I like that one.
I don't know. I don't really like the under, to be honest with you, because I think that Cleveland is actually gonna be able to move the ball on the Patriots.
Aaron says you boys like Chung.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have a good read on this type of a matchup with the Patriots and the Browns. I was looking at it earlier, like I said, and it's when I have a bad feeling about it, or like I'm not sure how the Patriots are going to do, I usually just stay away from it. I guess I would probably play Booty in the flex if in my fantasy lineups. I guess I would play Diggs as well, as long as it's a flex play. Like I said, I think Drake May is going to have to win this game. He's going to have to put his cape on and win this game. Maybe he can get what's his rushing yard prop? Is it 24 and a half?
Drake May.
Yeah, that was the only thing that I was really liking, and it's not even that great of odds. But I feel like you might, Drake May might get some rushing yards in this game.
Yeah, 26 and a half.
Yeah, put me down for Drake May over 26 and a half rushing yards.
Aaron, you talking about Patrick Chung, former Patriots safety there? What are you talking about over there?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Must be some kind of fucking slang word or some shit. Chung. So I like the Ramondre. I just feel like the game script, I think the Patriots will be in scoring position a few times. I could see them getting on the 1, or like within the 5. I think Ramondre will punch it in at least once. But again, I think this could be like a 20 to 13 type game.
And I think Hunter Henry might get some volume in this. So one thing I noticed is Drake May goes to Hunter Henry when nothing else is working. So if Cleveland happens to D up in this game, you might see some targets for Hunter Henry.
I like that because he's had 3 straight weeks where he's been like under 10 fantasy points, Hunter Henry. And coming off that 2 touchdown game, I'm like, this is going to be his guy, man. Like he's had the relationship with him. But then Diggs popped up, Boudet stepped back up again. But a good point there. Like, if they got the receivers locked up, he may just go back to his guy once again and Hunter Henry. So I kind of like that. I may have to And nobody's really been thinking about Hunter Henry.
Hunter Henry receptions. I like the receptions better than the yards, but
3.5.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, you want to make that one official?
Yeah, here I am was avoiding the game. Now I'm doing 2 bets there. I like Drake May over the 26.5 rushing yards, and give me the Hunter Henry over 3.5 receptions. I do like both of those.
I'm going to bet that Hunter Henry with you too, over the 3.5. But yeah, I don't feel great about Boutte or Diggs really, or any of the pass catches. But I kind of like the Henry call. Judy, I don't know if he's playing. He could be out. Isaiah Bond. It just goes back to the tight ends again. It's going to be a lot of Harry Fannin. So, hey, Fannin, you're rolling out there. Judkins, how do you feel about him? It's not really a great matchup for him here.
No, but he's been pretty much matchup proof except for that one game.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I think last week though, I think he had one big run, but outside that run, he really didn't do much. 25 carries for 84 yards.
I will say this though: if Jerry Jeudy is out, then I'm not as confident about Harold Fannin because even though the Patriots give up the tight end, if Harold Fannin is their top weapon, pass catching weapon, the Patriots will game plan to stop him without anybody else. So you got to keep that in mind. Keep an eye out on Jeudy. I didn't look at the injury report for the Cleveland Browns, but I didn't even realize that he was in danger of missing the game. Has he been ruled out? Or?
I don't think he's been ruled out. I know he was a little bit banged up. I think he left the game last week. Have to check it. Yeah, he's probable. He didn't practice Wednesday, but I guess he's expected to play. At the last report, I mean, we're on, it's Thursday, so we'll see if he practices tomorrow. I don't know if he practiced today or not, but it says it's probable. So
something to keep in mind because the Patriots do take away the top weapon.
Njoku also had a limited practice too, so he could possibly be back this week. We'll have to see. Diggs had a limited practice. He should be okay. All right. Next game, Chicago, Baltimore. I think this is going to be my best bet of the week in this game. Baltimore coming off the bye, 4 straight losses. Bears, 4 straight wins, beating Dallas, beating the Raiders, beating Washington, beating the Saints. Caleb's really hasn't been playing that great, not really good, but they're getting the run game going with Swift, and Monangai last week had a good game, and their defense has played better the last 2 weeks as well, playing more cohesively. Baltimore's defense was getting thrashed, especially their secondary. Houston put up 44 on them. The Chiefs put up 37 on them. The Lions put up 38 on them. And then, they play a little bit better against the Rams, just 17 points for the Rams. They got a little bit healthier, and I think they're going to be even more healthier coming out of the bye. This is their season. The Steelers just lost. This is going to be like their Super Bowl. They're going to go all out. So I'm taking the Ravens -6. I just think they're going to, I'm expecting Lamar to play somehow, some way. I know he's been limited in practice, but I just think you're 1-5. You got to find a way to get out there. And I think he will. So I'm going to take the Ravens -7. Before I get into the props, how do you see this game going? And who do you like on the Bears side, if anything?
I love Rome Odunze on the Bears side. Baltimore's pass defense has given up 10 touchdowns, I believe. 10
you don't think they'll tighten it up a little bit coming out of the bye?
They probably do, but Odunze is the and he's the touchdown guy for the pass catches for Chicago. So
yeah, and even if they go on my theory and they blow them out, the Bears may throw it a ton, and then Odunze could get a touchdown or two that way too. So you're right.
I like Odunze getting a touchdown. He's probably my favorite play for the pass catches. I do think that they are going to attempt to run the ball with both running backs. I think Monangai actually has more success than DeAndre Swift, just because of how weak Baltimore is with on the interior line on that. Just looking at looking at Baltimore's rushing, they've given up 658 rushing yards, it's not as bad as some of the Russian defenses that are at the bottom of the barrel, but seven touchdowns. Yeah. I mean, I think Monangai has a better rushing line than DeAndre Swift does, but DeAndre Swift probably is more involved in the offense, if that makes any sense. He is the pass catching back there. He is the outside runner. If Lamar plays and Baltimore does, I mean, the fact that they're favored by 6.5 points, that tells me that Lamar's probably going to be playing,
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's been limited in practice, but I think he's going to play.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not saying that Monangai's gonna go off and have a 15 to 20 point fantasy performance. I just think he's going to be the more effective runner of the two. I'm thinking that DeAndre Swift, he's given us 20 fantasy points the last 2 weeks. I think that number comes back down to earth this week. I like Odunze, and DJ Moore probably gets involved as well. Baltimore gives up plays in chunks, so DJ Moore is a yak machine. I like both of those pass catches. I'm curious to see if Colston Loveland gets more involved with Cole Kmet being banged up.
Yep.
I don't know if I would start him. I mean, I guess out of necessity I would start him, but that's kind of how I see the Chicago offense play it out. I don't think they're going to try to keep Caleb Williams from making mistakes, but I do like Odunze.
Yeah, we'll see if the Bears can keep that running game going. I just think they could get scripted out in this game with the way I expect the game to go. And then Caleb may just have to toss it more. That could be good for Odunze. Odunze had 4 straight games with a touchdown last 2 weeks. Been no touchdowns, held under 40 yards receiving in both. So maybe we get a bounce back here. But again, they have shifted to more of a running offense because they're getting the running game going too. So we'll see if they can keep it going. I'm going to take the Ravens -7. I like Andrews here, over 34.5 receiving yards. We saw Juwan Johnson just have 79 yards against them last week. Zach Ertz had 6 for 43. Jake Ferguson had 13 for 82. Even Brock Wright caught a touchdown, 3 for 28. So Andrews' line coming off the bye, I think Lamar will go to his guy. I'm going to take Andrews anytime touchdown plus 160. I could also see him getting 2 touchdowns in this game plus 900. Maybe I'll sprinkle a little something on that. And then Derrick Henry, 2 touchdown prop is plus 250 with the game script. I may take that. And then Henry over 89.5 rushing yards. I just think Henry coming off the bye is going to be fresh. I could see him having a monster game here. And they'll probably want to rely on Henry too a little bit more because of Lamar being a little bit banged up. So I just think the Ravens are going to roll. Maybe I'm wrong. But
I was gonna say, you're way more higher than on the Ravens in this game than I am. I just think that you're discounting Chicago's defense a little bit. I know this game isn't in Chicago.
No, they've played better for sure.
And also, I'm not liking I wouldn't do the Mark Andrews 2 touchdowns just in case Isaiah Likely gets involved.
I mean, that's true. I was thinking about that too. Likely could definitely get involved.
And you hit it on the nose. The tight end is their weakness. So
yeah,
I could see the Ravens maybe they coming off of a bye. And before the bye week, they were they were saying that they wanted to get Likely more involved. You heard the trade rumors with Mark Andrews. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't surprise me if Isaiah Likely got involved in this game.
I could just see, even though Lamar has the hammy, I could just see it being one of those Ravens like 38-13 wins. Lamar having like 4 touchdowns. I just kind of feel like that's going to happen. And then I'm going to take Caleb Pick -110. I think he's throwing a pick this week as well. All right. Anything else you like in this game or no?
No. I think we covered this game pretty good.
All right. Yeah, I think we did as well. Miami versus Atlanta. Now, last week, we said that, McDaniels could get canned if they lost to the freaking Browns. They lost 31-6 to the Browns. In a shitty weather game, McDaniels is wearing sunglasses in the rain. There was pictures of like Ted Kaczynski comparisons. He's looking like Ted Kaczynski. He's looking like Mark Anthony. He's cracking out there in freaking Miami. So I just think Atlanta coming off the loss to San Francisco, they're home now. Their crowd, they got a nice home crowd. They've been good at home this year. They only have, they lost to Tampa, but they're 2-1. They beat the Bills up. They beat Washington 34-27. And I just think they're going to get it done here. I think Atlanta's going to get a pretty convincing win. Maybe the spread's 6.5, maybe 7 to 10 points. This is like a 1 unit. I'm not going to go crazy, but I feel like this might be the last week for McDaniels.
Nice. I like Atlanta covering the spread. You can put me down for that one.
So we're both on that. All right.
And there's 2. I like 2 prop bets in this. I think it's going to be more than a 2. I think it's going to be more than 10 points, Steve. I think you could see something like, and this game's in Atlanta.
I got a prop too. Go ahead.
I think you could see a pretty good blowout. I think this could be like a 27-6, 30 to. I don't see Miami, outside of A-Chain breaking one. I don't see them scoring a touchdown, to be honest with you. My 2 props that I like in this, I like Tyler Algier 50+ rushing yards at +135. And the reason I say that is because I do think it's going to be a blowout, and I do think you're going to see Bijan hit the bench in the 4th quarter. And you're going to see Algier get enough carries to hit that 50 rushing yard mark. And then I also like Bijan 50+ receiving yards. I'm afraid to touch his rushing prop because it's a high number. It's like 70. Is it 7? I want to say it's 79. Before you get anywhere near like not being juiced out of your bet. So that one scares me a little bit just because of the fact that I think Atlanta defense is going to completely smother Miami, and this game could get out of hand. But I will take the Bijan 50+ receiving yards because he's been involved in the passing game all year, and I just think that's where he makes his. That's where he's going to break one off. He's going to catch a pass in space against this horrendous Miami defense, and he could do some damage. He could probably get that within 2 or 3 receptions, I think. So I'm feeling confident about that one. Those are my 2 props, and I like Atlanta to cover.
Yeah, so if you have Tyler Algier on your bench, this is probably a good week to start him with the game script we're expecting here. I like Drake London over 66.5 receiving yards. Kind of had a rough game last week. I know Mooney's back. Maybe the game script's not the best here, but I just feel like London should have a strong game here. A nice bounce back. So I'm going to take that. But yeah, Miami, man, I don't know. This could be Tua would probably have one of his worst games. Again, the weather was terrible. It's going to be much better. Obviously, they're playing in a dome now. I just feel like this could be the end. I'm kind of with Joe here. I don't know if it's going to be a complete blowout, but it definitely could. But we're both taking Atlanta. Joe likes the Algier and Bijan props. Plus 50+ receiving yards for Bijan, 50+ rushing yards for Algier. What was the odds on that? You said plus 140 what?
Plus 135 for Algier and plus 185 for Bijan.
Oh, wow. That's a good one. 50+ receiving yards. Nice. All right. Yeah, I mean, Jalen Waddle. I mean, I would use him in this game. Waddle's still a really good receiver. He had a shitty game last week. People are like, what happened to Waddle? He's been great ever since Tyreek left, so he should have a bounce back game. Actually, I might like his prop over. I didn't look at that, but
I'm not confident in it. I said, man, I just think Atlanta's defense is
that's true. That's actually, that's what I was thinking about when I was going over the game. The matchup's not going to be great for Waddle, but he could win that matchup. He's like their only capable receiver. Could be a lot of Malik Washington. Maybe he catches 5-6 balls in this game too. Because they're going to be playing from behind here, I think. So Tua's probably going to have to throw it a bunch.
I have that listed too. I was hesitant to say it though, but if you want, you could throw. I like the receptions though, not the yards, because they're probably going to be.
He doesn't get a lot of yards.
They're probably going to be like screens or like low A dot passes. Like, but I do. It's his 5+ receptions at plus 187 on DraftKings. So I did jot it down. I don't know if I want to make it an official bet. But it's I don't hate it if you want to if anybody throws that prop in there. But just to one point I forgot to mention with Bijan's 50+ receiving yards. Michael Penix is banged up a little bit with his knee. I do expect him to still play, but
it looks like he's going to start.
But I do think that's they're gonna try to keep it simple, like short passes. I still like Drake London's yards, like you said, Steve. But I wouldn't do a Drake London reception prop though. Just the 66 yards.
66,
yeah. He could get that on like 3 or 4 catches.
Yeah, Waddle's going to have A.J. Terrell. I still feel like he could win that matchup, but the Malik one might be a little bit better for receptions. He might catch he could catch 6 balls for like 30 yards in this game. So no Waller. Waller hit the IR once again. Guy just cannot stay healthy. But again, we're gonna say it here. I'm gonna say it. I think this might be McDaniels' last game. For the Miami Dolphins, but we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. I just think Atlanta at home is going to bring the heat. All right. And Joe and I are both taking Atlanta, so we're on the same page there. All right. Next game up. What do we got here? Tampa, New Orleans. Tampa coming off a loss against Detroit. That was probably Baker's worst game of the year, worst game in a while. And New Orleans just lost to Chicago. That was also kind of a shitty weather game. Spencer Rattler, that was probably his worst game of the year as well. Again, Chicago's defense is playing a little bit better ball. But you expect Tampa to get a bounce back. The spread is just 3.5. So it's not a huge spread. Total is actually pretty high, 46.5, 47. Mike Evans now probably out for the year. Tez Johnson was a big pickup. Last week, this week, again, people like Kate Otten. Some people are chasing Sterling Shepard. I like Tez Johnson. Ibuka worked his way back last week. Bucky Irving's going to be out once again. So it's going to be the Rachaad White show. Rachaad White had a tough game last week. They couldn't really do anything on offense, but I think Rachaad White will bounce back. Could get into the end zone at least once, maybe twice here. And then, Shaheed and Olave, I think, the Saints are probably going to be throwing a decent amount in this game with this total. So I don't mind you using both of those guys. And then we also have Kendrick Miller out for the year. So it's going to be a whole lot of Kamara. What do you think about the Bucs side of the ball with Tez Johnson and Kate Otten?
Those are the 2 guys I'm thinking are going to get the most targets. I'm looking right now. New Orleans is towards the back end against tight ends. So I like Kate Otten again. I didn't pick any player props for this game, but I think Tez Johnson is going to have a nice game. I would if I'm a Tez Johnson owner in fantasy, I'm finding a way to get him in my lineup. Rashad White, of course, he could very easily have a 2-touchdown game. Just based on Tampa Bay trying to, I think Tampa's in for a bounce back week. They get New Orleans. New Orleans, not the greatest defense in the league. Tampa Bay, Baker's coming off a horrible performance. I think the Mike Evans injury rattled them a little bit. And he was just overthrowing everything last week. He's definitely going to have a bounce back game. So, I mean, as far as fantasy goes, Tez Johnson, K-Dot and that tight end, I like him as a plug-in play this week, especially if you have McBride or somebody on a bye week, and Rashad White.
Yeah, I got Rashad White anytime touchdown -120. I got Tez Johnson. Tez Johnson over 44.5 receiving yards. Tez Johnson's looked the part, man. He's looked good back-to-back weeks, flashing. We've been talking about him. So, and then Ibuka obviously is a no-brainer. And, like we said, Olave, Shaheed, Kamara, what do you think about him rest of the year now with no Kendre Miller? Do you think they're going to get him a little bit more involved now in the passing game, at least, like try to feature him a little bit more?
Well, I do think Devin Neal is going to get some run in this game. I know after Kendre went down last week, it was all Alvin Kamara. But I have a feeling that has to do with just not wanting to throw Devin Neal in there without, you know what I mean? Now they have a whole week to prepare for it. So I do think you're going to see Devin Neal get some carries. I do think that Kamara's probably going to, he's still going to get his receptions. Tampa Bay against the running back, they've given up 37. Yeah, they've given up the most, it looks like, the most receiving yards to running backs.
Yeah, they have. You're right, 431 yards.
Yeah, so, I mean, something to look at. Kamara might be, his receiving prop is probably at 4.5 at least, right? His receptions, 4.5, maybe even I could see it being 5.5 before you get plus odds. You don't always have to go for the plus odds, but yeah, I'm liking Kamara.
Kamara's 3.5 catches.
Oh wow,
yeah.
He
hasn't really catching a lot of balls. They're kind of they're throwing downfield a little bit more. Even Jawan Johnson having a big game last week too. Rattler likes to toss the ball downfield. He thinks he's freaking. I don't know. He's a risk taker. He likes to chuck it. So maybe he can, maybe after last week, he gets a little bit smarter, starts giving Kamara a little bit more usage. We'll see. But yeah, 3.5 is not bad for Kamara. The receiving prop for him too is 22.5. That's kind of low too.
I like both of those. I would maybe parlay both of those.
Yeah, especially in a game where they're going to have to catch up. And a high total. All right. By the way, no weather really this week. After last week, the crazy weather we had, this week is very, very quiet. I didn't see anything significant at all.
I think I saw precipitation for the Dallas game, but I don't think it was like anything of, any crazy winds or anything like that.
Yeah, low chance of light rain, and then Kansas City, some possible rain, but yeah, nothing concerning. So you don't have to really worry about it. Of course, you check again Sunday real quick, but yeah, it doesn't look like anything's going to be on the horizon. All right. Next game up, Dallas at Denver. Denver coming off that miracle win. They're honoring Demaryius Thomas. They win 33-32. The Giants choked the game at the end. They missed 2 extra points. Even Bo Nix was getting a little bit lucky. The tip pass off, he threw to Sutton, and Troy Franklin dives and catches it in the back of the end zone. So we had 2 miracle plays in this game. But Bo Nix finishes the game strong, running all over the place. Peyton's dialing it up. A lot of easy throws, wide open throws into the end zone. But that's him and Peyton have a good relationship. Nick's kind of started slow last year, so let's see if he picks it up down the stretch. But a monster fantasy game for him last week. Now he gets Dallas. Nice matchup. The total is fairly high for Denver's defense, 51. Dallas comes in fully healthy here, getting CeeDee Lamb back last week. They have George Pickens, Ferguson, Javonte Williams has been solid all year. How do you see this game going? I think you mentioned you like the game to maybe go under the total here.
What's that? That I mentioned that the other night.
Yeah, we took a guess at it. I think you guessed like 46, and I guess like 48, 49. It's 51.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on how effective Dak is. Sometimes when he goes against a tough passing defense, he shows his true colors. But he does have George Pickens. He does have CeeDee Lamb. He's got all of his weapons at his disposal. I'm actually kind of liking. I think Javonte Williams probably has a good game. All right, let me look at Denver against the run.
All right, we got a question in the chat from Roan Dog 27 on Twitch. Do you think I trade Jalen Waddle for Gadsden in a dynasty superflex?
Ooh. See, I think Waddle's got decent dynasty value because
he's only 26 years old.
Yeah. Is it tight end premium at all? I don't even know if that'll make a difference. I don't know. Gadsden looks really good. I mean,
yeah, he looks like a nice presence for Herbert there. And he's going to be tagged with Herbert. I don't think he's going anywhere. Herbert's not going anywhere. Waddle doesn't have the quarterback. I mean, who are they going to bring? I mean, they could bring in a better quarterback. Waddle could get shipped off into a better situation too. I mean, Waddle is one of the most talented receivers in the league. He's just been in a shitty situation there with Tua. I would say I'd like to hold Waddle, but if you wanted to do it, I'm not going to hate on it.
Yeah, no, that could go either way. Waddle's also does have an injury history. So if you got a sour taste about Waddle, I could understand wanting to move him for a tight end that you can just plug in and forget about going forward pretty much for the most part. Greg Roman too. He's attached to Greg Roman and Justin Herbert. That's a pretty good combination for a talented pass catching tight end. But Waddle is one of those guys that is a screaming buy low in Dynasty. Not necessarily buy low. I mean, this guy's willing to give up Gadsden. So, but yeah, I think that's a pretty even deal. It just depends on your wide receiver depth. If you have good wide receiver depth, if you're in rebuilding mode, you have a lot of draft picks you can use on younger wide receivers, or you could flip them for somebody like a Michael Pittman or whatever, somebody equivalent to Waddle to replace, and you just look at to add overall depth to your lineup with Gadsden. I don't hate the deal.
Yeah,
it's it's really close.
Yeah, it depends on your team, but if you really like Gadsden, you want to go for it. I think Waddle's the better asset overall. But if you wanted to do it, I'm not going to hate on it. Waltzy protein farts. Joe was telling me about eating some pot roast and some. He was farting all over the place the other night.
Pot roast and then apple crisp for dinner is not a good idea. Just.
And now we got protein farts in here. Twitch always has great names, man. But anyway, what do you guys make of Pickens and CD rest of the year? Do we just expect them to both be 100-yard game receivers every game? Feels impossible, but feels like the sentiment.
It does seem impossible because you factor in Jake Ferguson too, and it's I think it's only happened like 3 times in the last few years where a team has 3 players finish with over 100 targets. So it's something's got to give, and somebody's going to be not having a big game at some point. I mean, what was Pickens' line last week? I know he had a nice catch down the sideline that I remember, but
let me take a look real quick. Pickens was 4 for 82. Caught a 44-yard pass.
That's the one that I was talking about.
Still solid. I think CD obviously is going to be more productive, but I think Pickens, he could still finish the season with like another 5-6 touchdowns. It's quite possible in like another 300-400-yard games. I mean, I think he's going to be pretty damn solid the rest of the way. Dak's getting good protection. Their defense is not the best. They're going to meet a lot of shootouts. People are comparing them to the Bengals from last year with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. And I think it's a pretty fair comparison. So, I think Pickens is going to be damn solid the rest of the way. I just think you keep rolling him out there. Pickens is a really, really talented receiver. He's always been. He's just been playing in those limited systems with Arthur Smith and those limited quarterback play. And now he's in the best situation he's ever been in. So, I think he's going to finish strong.
13-22. Yeah. It's CD missed a handful of games, but this could be one of those rare situations where three guys do finish with all over 100 targets. So,
I think the guy that would take the hit the most is Ferguson, I feel like.
I've been saying that, but they got Denver this week. They have Arizona next week, which is terrible against the tight ends. Then they got Vegas, Philadelphia, KC, Detroit, Minnesota, the Chargers, Washington. So I think the schedule favors Pickens over Ferguson long term throughout the year. He does have that nice matchup in Week 9, though.
And Ferguson's been so good this year. 7 catches for 20 yards, but 2 more touchdowns last week. He scored in 4 straight weeks, and he has 6 touchdowns in his last 4 games. So, we'll see, man. We'll see how it plays out. But if you own any of these guys, you're feeling pretty damn good every single week. That's for sure. He says, I always forget my name is horrendous whenever I try to interact with people. Oh, shit. All right, well, welcome to the show, man. Please like, subscribe, come back, hit that notification button. Protein Farts will be here all year, rest of the year, man, to help you out. And he says, Ferg Market won't admit it, though. All right, next game here. Actually, we're talking about Dallas Denver. We didn't finish talking about it. Let's get into it. I went over Denver's game last week. So how do you think CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens match up against this Denver defense this week? I know you said you like Javonte, but how do you think the receivers match up, and Dak? Like what kind of game do you see from Dak here?
I mean, I think with that, you see, I don't know. This is a tough one because when we were talking about the over under, I was like thinking that it's going to be not a shootout, but the more and more I'm looking at it, I just don't see how Denver doesn't put up enough points that makes Dallas, have to throw the ball. So,
appreciate it, brother. Thank you for that. He says, thanks. I hit the button. You're all good at this.
Nice. They're running. Yeah. So I think, CD's obviously going to eat, despite the matchup. And even if they do shut him down, George Pickens is going to have a good game. Jake Ferguson, the offense. Yeah, I could see how this over under is at 51. So spread's 3.5. I guess. I mean, you're going to see. I don't know. I think George Pickens and Dak both reach 5 receptions. I like Javonte just because he's a pass catching running back, and I do think that Denver can give up some rushing yards. That's kind of like they're going to have to use Javonte to kind of soften up the secondary a little bit and have them like come forward. I feel like when teams abandon the run against Denver, that's when their offense really struggles. Kind of
we just saw Tracy have a wide open run too. We've seen Javonte have a lot of big holes. So yeah, Javonte could have a nice game here.
Yeah, when the Jets refuse for some reason they refused to stick to the running game against Denver, and they didn't use Breece Hall out of the backfield like they should have, and it allowed Denver to just sit back and collect, I guess you could say. So, and I just don't see that happening with Javonte in Dallas. So I think Javonte is going to be a big part of the game plan. I think he's going to have a high volume role in this. So that's why I like him. Not necessarily going to, do like 130 yards or whatever, but he's going to get there through volume. And the pass catches are going to be there too, because, if Denver, the only way that this game, the only way that it's not, that the pass catches underachieve is if Denver offense isn't putting up points, but that's hard to think, given how bad Dallas's defense has been. So,
yeah. Dax played in Denver one time. Obviously, he got the altitude. They lost 42-17 back in 2017. Dak threw for 238 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. He was throwing to Jason Witten, Dez Bryant, Cole Beasley. Interesting. Denver had Trevor Siemian, C.J. Anderson. Jamal Charles was the backup, and Demaryius Thomas was the leading receiver, 6 catches for 71 yards. Emmanuel Sanders had 6 catches for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns. Virgil Green, remember him? Tight end, caught a touchdown. So, yeah, I'm going to take Dallas in this game, though. They're getting 2.5, actually 3. I think Denver, coming off that emotional win last week, I like the way Dak's playing, Dallas is playing, and I'm going to take the points here, getting 3. What do you think about that?
I like it because Dallas is got a winning record against the spread, despite being 3-3-1. And Denver's 5-2, but they're 2-5 against the spread. So, I mean, the number if you're looking at the numbers, is it 3.5 or is it? I'm seeing 3.5.
Denver's 2-5 or 3-6-1, and Dallas is 6-4.
But what's is the spread 3.5?
The spread is 3. You could get like 2.5, 3, 3.5, maybe some spots. Yeah.
I'm seeing 3.5 on this, but if you can get 3.5, hell yeah, I like the points.
Yeah. I mean, definitely find the best number, 100%. All right. How about the Broncos running backs? RJ Harvey obviously still isn't doing anything. He did catch a touchdown. J.K. Dobbins, do you like him in this game?
Yeah, I do. I like Dobbins. I might actually put me in for a bold 2-leg parlay here. I like J.K. Dobbins and Cortland Sutton for anytime touchdowns, the 2 of them.
All right, I'm Terry Rozier, and for your Chauncey Billups. What a fucking shit show that is.
Nice. I'm glad you brought that up because, I mean, that was all over the news today. Jesus Christ.
That was crazy.
Terry
Rozier was supposedly he played like 9 minutes and then he took himself out of the game and he was betting on his under props. That's freaking insane. But, it's going to get worse and worse. I mean, there's probably more shit's going to come out.
Yeah, right. I mean, wait, like, It's crazy. You think that there's any of this stuff going on in the NFL, or basketball was much easier to fix, in my opinion. But
Hey, well, you had that other player, that nobody player that got banned from the NBA too, a few years ago. Then Malik Beasley also was throwing some stuff. So yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
How about
The poker ring was crazy too, though.
X-ray glasses? Did you see that?
No.
The details on the X-ray glasses, being able to see the cards and stuff.
Holy
That's
shit.
fucking insane, dude.
Wow.
Like, it's and
Dude,
you know,
Chauncey Billups, man. Like, I always rooted for him too. I liked him on the Pistons. He's a freaking head coach. Like, what the fuck is going on?
People do anything to get themselves an edge. You know, I'm in the casino. You know, like I'm playing I try to play about 40 to 50 hours a month of poker at the casino, and I see a lot of shady shit happening. Like for instance, and this isn't considered cheating, but it's such a bitch move. I see a lot people sitting down at the pot limit Omaha table with the stakes that I play at. It's $1,000 max buy-in.
Yeah.
In 300 minimum. I'll see people buy in for the full amount or close to the full amount. If they run it up to like 2,200 or over anything over 2,000, they'll pick up. Now, normally there's like 2 of those games going. So in the list is usually short. It's not like a very popular game. So, and then a lot of the times it's a game that can be played shorthanded. Like they won't break the game because it's short. It's you get dealt 4 cards instead of 2. So it could, shorthanded is a thing. And they'll pick up. What happens in the casino is when you pick up, if you return back to you have 90 minutes. If you return to the same table, you have to bring what you have with you. So they'll run it up to 2,000 and they'll pick up just so that they don't get, because in Omaha there's coolers. You play pot limit Omaha when 2 people have a big hand. There's lots of ways there's lots of redraws. So you can have a good hand and get cooled because you could have like a set with a straight already and like there could be 2 flush draws on the board and you could have one of them, but your opponent could have the straight as well without a set and have the other flush draw. And then the last card, and all the money can get in because you both have a real strong hand. The pot's big, so it allows, it's pot limit. So whatever's in the pot, that's what you can bet. So it allows the deep stacks to get big when there's 2 big hands. Now it's a hand that you can't get away from because not only do you have the best hand at the time with 1 card to come, but you also have 2 different redraws. You have a flush draw and you draw into a full house because you have a set or whatever in your hand. Now the other guy's got the same straight that you have, but he's also got that flush draw. If that other flush draw hits, that's you lose the entire pot because you don't have that flush draw. You had the other redraws. So what happens is they pick up their $2,000. They wait 90 minutes and they come back to the table with just 500. They'll do a smaller buy-in and they'll try to run it up again. And if they don't run it up again, they just okay with the $500 loss because they're still profiting for the day because they already made 12. You already hit their $1,000 mark or 1,200 or whatever the hell they picked up with. Right. So they make it so that they don't have to risk that their entire $2,000 stack, and I think that's kind of shitty. Then you see people chip dump into each other. So the other night I was playing 1-3 no limit, and I hate to get off topic here, but we were playing 1-3. I was playing 1-3 no limit, and these 2 guys came from a broken table together. And one of them wasn't even supposed to be at the table. He was supposed to be at a different table. They fill it as the tables, as people leave and the tables get short, they condense the tables down. They break a table and they condense it down and they fill in the empty seats. And one of them was supposed to be on another table, but he sat down right away with the kid that he walked over. They were clearly friends. That you could see them talking to each other. And then the kid that was supposed to sit and have that seat came over and was like, "This table's full." He went to the floor, and then the floor found him the empty seat, which was supposed to be the other guy. But anyway, these two kids sit down next to each other. They each have $500. One of them goes all in with like some weird shit. The other one calls. And they waited until it was just them two in a hand, and they fucking chipped them. So now one guy's got 1,000. The other guy leaves his phone in the cup and says, "I'll be back. I'm going to go get another buy-in."
Yeah,
you got up to an hour. If it's open seating and there's no list, you have up to an hour to come back to your seat. Literally 40 minutes goes by. The guy who he chipped them to chipped up another few $300-400 and picked up. I shit you not even 10 minutes after this guy picks up, the other guy comes back with a full buy-in. So it's like, I'm like, what the hell? I'm like,
yeah.
So I picked up at that point. I picked up because I'm like, this other guy's gonna fucking come back in 90 minutes and sit in the same fucking seat with the they're gonna, and it's just
Right.
And
they play enough. They figure all this shit out, and they don't have rules against it.
Yeah, and it gives them an edge, and it's that's how you find.
Well, there you go. I mean, there's probably a lot of that shit going on, and then you got freaking that huge scandal with Chauncey Billups, and I didn't read everything about it, but I'm obviously more and more is going to come out about it. But that's
people do anything they can, man. Anything I
followed you a little bit. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that to get everything because you gave us a lot there, bro. That was a good little 5-minute poker rant. Joe has his own show, Aces Up, on the Sports Affiliation YouTube channel. Go check that out. All right, but what was the odds on that anytime touchdown, Sutton and J.K. Dobbins?
I don't know the odds. Shit, let me look them up real quick.
All right. But anyway, that's Joe's parlay in that game. And all right, anything else we missed in this game? I think we talked about pretty much everything. Cortland Sutton, we talked about. Yeah, we covered this game pretty good. All right, let's move on. We are in the 4 o'clocks now. Tennessee, Indianapolis. This is the biggest spread of the week, 14.5. The Colts are favored. They have absolutely been rolling. The Tennessee Titans fired their coach, and they lost 31-13. It was close kind of in the beginning, and then the game just fell apart. And Cam Ward, 25 of 34, 255 and a touchdown. Tajay, 5 carries, 22 yards. Pollard, 6 for 18, but Pollard had 6 catches for 43 yards. And then DK, a little bit popular pickup this week. Rookie gets a little bit more usage with the Ridley injury, 4 catches for 70 yards, had a 38-yard catch early. The touchdown catch early in the game. Really nobody else. I mean, Gunnar Helm took a step up in this game. Okonkwo got stepped out. How do you feel? We picked up DK in the one league, but obviously it's going to be tough to get him in your lineups. Good DFS play, but a good stash to see what he could kind of do. I don't think you're really using many Titans in this game. Maybe DK, maybe Pollard, considering he got some good receiving work, and they're probably going to have to play catch up in this game, being a 14-point dogs. But for the Colts, the same old. I mean, you got Danny Dimes once again. You got Taylor, Pittman, Alec Pierce. He had a nice game last week. Not the best game script. But how do you feel about Alec Pierce in this game?
I like Alec Pierce in this game because Kayshon Boutte just toasted Tennessee, and he's a similar type of wide receiver. And Alec Pierce has gotten the use. He's gotten he's had 4+ receptions since he's come back in each game. And I think he's good for 1 long touchdown in this game.
All right, so you're feeling pretty good about Alex Pierce.
I am, I got him in my lineups where I have him.
Do you think the Colts roll in this game? Like they cover the spread, or do you think the Titans find a way?
It's a big spread. It is a big spread. Also, I got the J.K. Dobbins Sutton two leg anytime touchdown parlay is plus 360.
Nice. All right. So almost 4-1 there.
But getting back to this game, I mean, I guess I could see it covering. In Indy's D is pretty stout. This game is in Indy. I don't see Tennessee getting much on the ground. They're going to struggle running the ball, so it's going to force Cam Ward to pass.
Yeah. I like the over 46.5. I think the Colts are going to put up a bunch of points, and I feel like the Titans could put up. I mean, they haven't put up many points the past couple of weeks, 10 against the Raiders and 13 against the Patriots. But I could see like a 34-17 game, something like that. I'm going to take the over. The Colts could score 40 in this game. I mean, they could just go absolutely nuts here.
I was going to say it depends on how much the Colts offense scores.
Well, they scored 40 against the Raiders, 31 against the Cardinals, and 38 last week against the freaking Chargers. So,
well, yeah, they're the number one team,
and they scored 41
offense.
The first matchup was 41-20. Was it early in the year, maybe week 2? 41-20, and Daniel Jones had 228 yards and a touchdown. Taylor had 102 yards and 3 touchdowns. Cam Ward had a touchdown. Pollard had a touchdown. So, yeah, I'm going to take the over. 61 points. We're getting a little bit, 46. I think I could see 50 points in this game, 10 less than last time. But I would use Pollard. I don't think he's going to have a big game, but I could see him getting some more receiving work like last week. DK, if I have to use him, I don't feel terrible about it if Ridley's going to be out. Amanda really hasn't showed out. Okonkwo took a hit last week. I don't know if I'm using Gunnar Helm. And then you're basically using all your Colts for the most part. Just for, every single week right now. They're just rolling as an offense. All right, let's keep it moving. A couple more games. All right, Sunday night football, revenge game for Aaron Rodgers. Well, not revenge game, but whatever. He says he has no animosity towards the Packers or whatnot, but who knows with Aaron Rodgers? He's even screaming at Jaylen Warren last week. He's screaming at everybody. This guy.
How about the lineman that tackled him after that?
I get it. That was great. He fucking flipped out on him. Holy shit. He's like an old grumpy man, dude. I mean, I understand it. He broke his Achilles, but the guy's just celebrating. It's not like he fucking. I guess the guy did probably weigh like 300 pounds, so he did get fucking really pissed though. How do you see this game going in Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh's the home dog on Sunday Night Football, getting 2.5 or 3. Obviously, if find the best number, you like the 3 or buy the hook if you can. But how do you see this game going? Do you think Rodgers goes into Pittsburgh and gets it done? Do you think Green Bay goes into Pittsburgh and gets it done, or do you think Rodgers gets back at his old team?
No, I'm leaning Green Bay winning this game. Dobbs and Matthew Golden have a plus matchup. Was the chat that I had a chat that I came across earlier. Shout out Josh Lockey for his weekly chats. And Golden and Dobbs have a plus 29, a plus 29, or I can't remember if it was either plus 29 or plus 19 yard advantage with their matchup based on weekly averages, past weekly averages.
Might be a good call. We saw Jefferson and Addison both go over 100. We saw Chase go for $161 and Higgins go for 96 last week. JSN also had a 100-yard game. Cooper Kupp had 90 yards. So they've actually almost allowed 3 tandems, or basically allowed 3 tandems to go over 100 yards this year so far, the Steelers. And Garrett Wilson had 95 yards and a touchdown against them as well in week 1.
Yeah, it is 29. So it's plus 29, 0.4 yards outside matchup. And slot matchup, Golden and Dobbs also plus 20. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be looking to do receiving props with both both Dobbs and Golden, just based on those analytics.
Yeah, Steelers are the 5th worst against receivers. They've only allowed 5 touchdowns, but they've allowed a lot of yards.
Yeah,
and a lot of catches.
And they're also not that great against the run. And Josh Jacobs is healthy. He's not he didn't miss last week. I expect him to be
he'll be out there. Yeah,
a little bit more healthy this week than he was last week, and he still looked fine last week. So I'm kind of liking the over in this game. Pittsburgh, just got into a shootout with Cincinnati, and Green Bay defense is decent, but they're beatable. I think that Aaron Rodgers is gonna be motivated to not get blown out. So, I believe is Calvin Austin I think Calvin Austin might be active for this game as well. So that gives him another weapon. Austin had 3 touchdowns before he got injured. So
yeah, we saw Pat Freiermuth go off last week. How are they going to utilize those tight ends? But before we talk about that, I do like that with the 2 receivers. Jacob should have a nice game. The over definitely is something I'm going to be looking at. The over in this game is 45.5, so it's not a huge number. We got to get Jordan Love to kind of play a little bit more, flashy consistently. He's kind of been shit in the bed this year and kind of shit in the bed since last year when he was a little bit banged up. But Tucker Kraft also, the Steelers are getting torched by tight ends as well. They're 3rd worst against tight ends.
Right.
Hunter Henry had 2 touchdowns, 90 yards against them. Harold Fannin had 81 yards. Noah Fant had 44 yards and a touchdown. So this does look like a pretty damn good matchup for the Packers. Are the Steelers going to figure it all out, in 1 week? Probably not. So, I was kind of liking the Steelers. I could see them doing some damage to the Packers defense, but you're probably, I might not like the Steelers anymore. It's close, but
Green Bay,
the Packers have too many damn good matchups here.
Green Bay is 31st in the league against tight ends as far as fantasy numbers go. They've given up 50 catches for 375 yards and 5 touchdowns to the tight ends. So Freiermuth, somebody to keep an eye on.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think Freiermuth's going to be the guy this week again, or do you think it's going to be a mix-up again?
It's going to be a mix-up. I don't think it's going to be just one guy. I've seen a couple of shop guys talk about a Jonnu anytime touchdown. I don't feel confident in just picking just. I mean, it's kind of like a roulette, or like a dot throw. Like you put up three spots on a dot board and throw a dot, and whichever.
Yeah, but you know what though? Like last week, we say we should have just bet all the tight ends. I think they all scored last week, right?
Yeah, if they could. It could be in play again.
Maybe that's what I'm saying. Maybe we double down again and bet on all the tight ends. All right, we're gonna do it. 1:43 in the morning. Tight end prop. We're gonna take Jonnu and Freiermuth anytime touchdown.
It is National Tight End Day, right?
Oh, that too. There you go. That's perfect.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's parlay that together. I like it. I'm in
Freiermuth and Jonnu anytime touchdowns.
I'm in on it. Yep.
All right, let's go. We'll make that official. Jaylen Warren has looked very, very good all season long. Yep. He's playing probably the best football of his career, so you keep him rolling. Aaron Rodgers, he's played great the past couple of weeks. I know it's the Packers, but he should have another solid game. If you want to use him in this bye week, I don't feel bad about it. Who did you rather use? Would you rather use Flacco or Rodgers this week?
Flacco, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on Flacco as well. Although this game does have a little more juice. I'm surprised actually at this number 45.5. I kind of like the over too. You got me on that.
Yeah.
I'm going to pivot, I think, to the over rather than taking the Steelers. Green Bay, they've had 2 wins in a row. They had the tie against Dallas. Pittsburgh has the rough loss against the Bengals last week. But yeah, you're right. I could see Green Bay coming in here with the way they match up against Pittsburgh and getting the W. And then you got Parsons, who had 3 sacks, prime time. He's going to want to show off against Jerry, show Jerry what's up here on prime time. So Parsons could be attacking Rodgers a little bit. I like the over. Let's go with the tight end props. I like the receiver call you made, Tucker Kraft, Jacobs. Yeah, this should be a nice game. DK as well. DK Metcalf should have a nice game, and he's had a really good season. He's been solid all season. All right, we got a question in the chat from Daddy Gaming 6529. Should I trade Achane? I can include Breece Hall. I mean, who are you trading for, buddy? Let us know who you're thinking about. But Joe, off the top, who would you trade? I mean, who would you trade Achane for? You had one bad game last week.
Dynasty or redraft? I'm
Dynasty
assuming,
or redraft?
I'm assuming it's redraft.
Yeah, probably redraft.
What are you drinking over there? What do you got? What is that?
Just water.
Let's say it looks like a 40. No.
Yeah. I mean, if I was in my 20s, this would be a 40.
Yeah.
Or 8, under my 20s.
It's amazing how times have changed, man.
Oh my God. Yeah, fucking had a lot of good times though. That's for sure.
So I've never been an
too bad we couldn't have partied. Well, we'll party up at one point, but too bad we couldn't have partied in our teens and 20s without a fucking crazy. Probably would have both been locked up though. But
should have come to the expo this year. That was like my last hurrah. I think this year's at Fantasy Football Expo.
Oh yeah, because you stopped. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's all right. We'll hang out with the kids or something. We'll eat some pizza or something.
We'll potty golden age fucking style.
Yeah, figure it out. What do you got for Daddy Gaming here? Anything?
I don't know. Every year I try to find reasons not to draft Achane. So I'm on board with trading him. I don't know. We need more context. Do you need wide receiver help? Are you looking to trade down for running back depth? You're saying you can include Breece Hall. For some reason, I'm still holding Breece Hall. I have hope that he's gonna finally produce somehow. I don't know whether it'll
if he gets shipped off the Jets, maybe,
or if Aaron Glenn gets fired and a new coach, maybe with an offensive mind, comes in.
Woody's got to sell the team, man. I'm convinced. I've been saying it for like 10 years. Just sell the freaking team already, but he's not. He's got a firm grasp on that team.
Yeah, I need to know what does he need, if he needs a wide receiver, or are you just looking to trade Achane for depth?
If you're still with us, Daddy Gaming, give us a little more context there if you can. All right. So I think we made our picks there. We'll review all this before we get out of here. Last game, Monday Night Football. It loses a little bit of juice because we're not going to get Jaden Daniels in this game. But the Chiefs at home, 11-point favorites at home. I actually didn't get to look at this game yet, so we'll just talk about it now. But 11-point favorites. The total is 47.5, 48.5, depending on where you can find it. Chiefs are, they look like possibly the best team in the NFL, destroying the Raiders last week, 31-0. Impressive performance the week before, beating the Lions 30-17. Andy Reid was in his absolute bag that week, just fooling with the Lions defense. They get Rashee Rice back last week. He scores 2 touchdowns. Hollywood keeps it going with another touchdown, even though, he's not catching a lot of balls. They were taking some deep shots to Thornton, too. They're still getting him in the mix. We're seeing Brashard Smith take a little bit more of a step up. Kareem Hunt could miss this game. So Brashard Smith, how do you feel about him in this game? Not the best game script for him, but, do you think he's going to have a decent game here with running alongside Pacheco if Kareem Hunt's out?
Yeah, I do think it's still going to be a committee. I think Pacheco probably has the upper hand on total touches or total carries, I should say. Brashard Smith did have 4 receptions before the Chiefs blew the game open, and then they stopped then they went to they started running the ball more in the second half. He ended up with 13 carries and 5 receptions, so that's 18 touches. I do think he hits double digit touches. I don't know if you should be confident in starting him unless it's out of necessity. I am flexing him in one spot. That will change if Garrett Wilson, who hasn't practiced yet, but if Garrett Wilson is active, obviously I'm going to plug Garrett Wilson in and throw Rashad Smith back on the bench. But if Garrett Wilson doesn't play, then I am going to roll Rashad Smith on that one spot in the flex. Just because
who do you think has a better game, Bill or Rashad Smith?
I think Rashad Smith has a better game, but based on volume, they're probably equal in fantasy points. But I think Rashad Smith is going to look better and be more effective.
All right, and obviously, Rashee Rice, Pacheco, you feel pretty good about. He could definitely get into the end zone. Might not give you a ton of yards. Any other Chiefs receivers you want to utilize in this game besides Rashee Rice? Xavier Worthy, of course, but Hollywood Brown, Tyquan Thornton, Travis Kelce. How do you feel about him?
I don't know about Travis Kelce. Like I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that when Rishi came back, that I thought they were going to dial back his touches just to keep him fresh when it for the playoffs. They want him to be as fresh as possible because they do need Travis Kelce for a playoff run. So I'm a little bit down on Travis Kelce rest of the season just because of that. I mean, what he had last week? What, four catches, 3 catches?
Last week, 3 catches, 54 yards.
And how many targets? He was getting
3 targets.
Yeah. See, his targets are down. So 7
targets the week before that, but Reishi wasn't in town yet.
Right, he was 7 to 8 targets consistently.
Yeah.
So that's good. That number's down. So it's going to be hard to trust him going forward. If you happen to scoop up one of these wonderful tight ends that presented themselves the last few weeks, probably a good plan to pivot at this point. I think.
Who do you like better, Kelce or Fannin?
Fannin.
Yeah, I'm with you there too. I mean, it kind of feels dirty a little bit, but I think it makes sense given the game script and all the weapons they have now to utilize. Mahomes has been unbelievable. I mean, he's the best quarterback in fantasy right now. I mean, what a pick this year. I mean, this was the best value all season, forever with Mahomes. If you have Mahomes, you're definitely, doing pretty damn well for the most part, I would think, in your leagues. On the Washington side of the ball, Mariota, again, has played pretty well, filling in for Jaden Daniels in this system. He was terrible on Atlanta, but he's been much better in Washington. Debo and Terry McLaurin finally coming back. Terry McLaurin. How do you feel about Terry McLaurin in this game? Are you using him, or do you, like you said before with Aaron Jones, you want to wait and see?
I'm afraid to use Terry McLaurin because even when he was healthy early in the year, he wasn't producing. Like he gave us he didn't
3
hit
for 74, 5 for 48, and 2 for 27.
I was just gonna say I don't think he hit 10 fantasy points in any game.
He won the first game or the third game against the Raiders. He did, but just 10 though.
Are you sure he didn't have a fumble in that game?
Maybe, I don't know.
Because I want to say I have him rostered in a couple spots, and I want to say that I think he got 9.5 was his highest total, but I could be wrong. But anyways, yeah, I'm not too confident in Terry McLaurin. Debo, yeah. Debo was inside the top 10 before he missed at the position for fantasy points before he missed a game. Did he miss one game or it was 1
Debo,
week? Right?
I think it was 1 week. Yeah, he played 2 weeks ago. He had a shitty game,
Yeah.
and then they rested him last week.
Yeah. So Debo, I'm more confident in Debo than Terry McLaurin, but who knows?
McLaurin did go for 3 for 74 with Mariota, but that was against the Raiders.
I was gonna say, how did McLaurin do? I don't know. I'd have to see how he does with Mariota. So
yeah, I'm kind of with you. I feel like I feel a little bit better about Debo as well. I mean, I think I don't have McLaurin in many leagues, maybe one league. I'm going to use him. 3 receivers, plus the flex, so I'll use them. But yeah, I mean, I don't love it, but they're 51 total. They're going to be throwing a lot, so it's not bad. Debo, I think, is decent. Zach Ertz is not terrible either.
He does have a terrible matchup. Maybe McLaurin does get enough targets because Kansas City just absolutely smothers the tight ends.
Yeah. I mean, I prefer other guys over Ertz, but it's not a terrible considering they're going to have to toss the ball a bunch in this game.
Only 30 targets for tight ends against Kansas City.
Yeah, let's see. Laporta had the best game, 5 for 55 and a touchdown. They went against the Bowerless Raider team. Brenton Strange had 1 catch for 22 yards. Mark Andrews 7 for 30. And then Conklin 2 for 50. Yeah, so you're not expecting anything much from Ertz. This is probably a week where you want to utilize the Harold Fannins or maybe the Oronde Gatstons utilized tonight over him. What about Bill? I mean, what the hell are we doing with this guy? I don't feel good about him. I mean, I know me and you probably have to use him in that one league, but in the FFPC. But.
Oh, Servino's vape, yeah. Well, we have Brashad Smith, don't we?
Oh yeah, that's true. We could go with Brashard Smith. Yeah, let's do that. I'd rather do that. I think. Right.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I just
think there's more upside with Brashard, right?
I think there is. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the spread is 11. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I think it's about right. The spread. Do you think Washington covers, or do you think the Chiefs just take care of business here?
I lean towards the Chiefs side here.
Okay. And how about the total? Anything there? 48.5, 47.5?
Is the 47.5 is the total?
Yeah, I mean, just call it 48.
I'm going to say if the Chiefs cover, it stays under.
All right. We got a question here from Jack Huber, 1876. Trade Vidal for Bill Merritt, full PPR.
That's a tough one because Vidal is rolling now, but eventually Hampton's going to be back. Bill is going to be.
Do you think Vidal has earned himself a little bit of a role, or do you think they'll just go exclusively Hampton again?
That's a good question, Steve. He may have because he certainly looked pretty good tonight.
He did, yeah.
And the previous 2 weeks as well. I mean.
Yeah, and Hampton might not be back for another. There's possible he could be out for another 3-4 weeks.
So. And he could very well be eased back into a high volume role. So yeah, I think you're onto something with that question, Steve. So I think I don't think I'm making this trade. Not right now, anyway. Not right now.
I mean, Bill he kind of is the guy there. I mean, they're kind of mixing these other guys. He's just not really doing much. 13 for 33 last week against Dallas. Kind of game scripted out because they got blown out, but not really being utilized in the passing game. 2 targets, 1 target, 2 targets. His best receiving game was against the Chargers, 2 catches for 39 yards. That was his best game overall, 14 carries for 111, 17 for 61. We kind of thought after that Chargers game, it was going to be Bill, like he's going to go off. He does have more long-term value, but I don't know. That's a close one. I think I might want to keep Bill. But Vidal looked good. And it looks like the better flowing offense right now, I guess. I don't know.
Let's see, Bills, if he's got any positive predictor of future success metrics on his side. So he does have
Let's look at his schedule.
5 breakaway runs.
The schedule's not great. Go ahead.
His efficiency is not bad. He's 5.5 yards per touch.
Yeah, no, I thought he looked unbelievable in that Chargers game. And then the following week he looked like shit, but the Bears defense played better, but still he looked like he just didn't look nearly as good. And then last week he kind of looked the same again. But I don't know. I think I'd stick with it. These other backs are underwhelming. McNichols and Rodriguez and Eckler's gone. Obviously, Brian Robinson's gone. I think I would stick with – I mean, he gets the Chiefs this week. Seahawks is not really a great matchup. Lions is not a great matchup. So the next 3 matchups suck. Dolphins is good. Broncos isn't the best. Vikings is not bad. We just saw the Vikings get run on by Vidal. Giants is not bad. Eagles, and then Cowboys in the Super Bowl. But they got to get him more utilized in the passing game. He's not catching a bunch of balls. And
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Washington's offense just isn't where they haven't had a fully healthy offense. McLaurin is a big part of it. Is even though he wasn't productive, he takes a lot of pressure off of the rest of the offense just by being out there. He helps Jaden Daniels out. He's the true number 1 alpha target wide receiver, draws the defensive attention. So I think if McLaurin and Debo can stay healthy and Jaden Daniels can stay healthy and they can find a rhythm, Ja'Cory Crossy-Merritt probably is going to be down the stretch. His production is going to increase down the stretch. But I'm with you on Vidal, Steve. He definitely has carved out a role. Hampton's still 3 to 4 weeks out, and who knows if they're going to ramp him up right away. They're probably going to ease him back into action as long as Vidal is still healthy and rolling. They're a playoff team too, so I could see them really being careful with Hampton just to make sure he's there come playoff time. So they're probably a playoff team.
I'm going to say this. If you need to win now, considering Bills matchups the next 3 weeks. And then like Vidal gets the Titans next week, Steelers, Jaguars, Raiders. His schedule's pretty nice. So if you need to win now, I think I'd go for it. Get
Bill.
Keep Vidal rather, I'm saying. Vidal. Yeah. Smitty XD3MJ says, I'm 6-1. My receivers are Higgins, Olave, and Sutton. Running backs, Javonte Williams, Bijan, Monte, Aaron Jones. Tight ends, Kittle. Quarterback, Daniel Jones and Purdy. What wide receiver 1 would you try to acquire, or would you stay put?
Higgins, Olave, Sutton. Get Javonte, Bijan, Monte, Aaron Jones, tight end, Kittle. So my question, too, I want to know is who were you using at tight end when Kittle was out since you're 6-1? So just to give us a little extra context and an extra trade piece possibly.
Yeah, true. But I would say, maybe trade one of those tight ends, but you could trade Purdy maybe and trade Aaron Jones or Monty. And who would you trade out of those 3 receivers to try to mount up? He had Hunter Henry, by the way.
Okay.
Who would you trade? Which one of those receivers would you package to level up at receiver there?
I would probably say. See, I really like Sutton.
Olave's
usage you probably get more for Higgins. I think you could do Higgins and Hunter Henry for a better wide receiver, but obviously explore your options with Olave first if you can find the right customer. in the right return for an Olave and Hunter Henry mixed. I also think Hunter Henry is going to be leaned on this week, so you might want to wait until Hunter Henry has like another 6 for 72 and a touchdown, or 6, even just the usage, where he gets back into double-digit fantasy points, even if he doesn't score a touchdown, then it'll make the trade look a little bit better. I think I would try to trade Olave first. I would package Olave with Hunter Henry and try to get somebody that's on a better offense that doesn't have an injury history and is a little more upside than Olave.
Yeah, I would say Sutton. I think that's the one you want to keep. Olave obviously has the concussion issues. That could be a concern.
His sailing is also capped being on the Saints offense, playing with,
Right. He's going to be pretty consistent though, week in and week out.
Yeah.
And then Higgins is playing with Flacco. Obviously he looked great last week, but that could fall apart at some point. And Higgins gets hurt all the time. So I would say Higgins or Olave, either one. What receiver would you go for though? In that case, like who are you trying to level up to? He's asking.
I don't think you could get somebody like
Drake London,
like a St. Brown. Yeah, maybe Drake London.
But I mean,
he might be out of range too.
I think you could probably get Drake London. Would you do it for
AJ Brown?
See, let me see here. Let me look at this list. What about Rashee Rice? Go after Rashee Rice. See if you can get him.
I would
go for him.
I would definitely try to make it Olave though. I really like Cincinnati's schedule down the stretch. Very fantasy friendly.
All right. Let's go Olave, throw in Purdy, and Monty or Aaron Jones, and maybe Hunter Henry, and maybe you could pull off Rashee Rice somehow. I don't know. But that's what I would go for first. That's going to be hard, obviously. And then you could level down maybe to Drake London.
How about Michael
Abuka? How about Abuka?
How about Michael Pittman?
I'd rather have
Pittman's been nice though.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a Pittman guy, but yeah, he has been good. 14 points, 10 points, 10 points, 13 points.
5 touchdowns in 7 games. On the number 1 offense in the league.
Yeah, for me, him and Olave are kind of the same, though, don't you think? I mean, Olave was kind of shitty actually until the last 2 weeks. But
Devontae Adams, I mean,
actually, no, he wasn't. He's been pretty steady actually. Olave's been pretty damn. So I was looking at
Yeah, Olave has been solid. I mean,
yeah. It's close between those two. I think you maybe want to get a little bit more of a powerful receiver.
I don't know how you're going to tear up, though, without giving up more than you want. I feel like he doesn't.
I would say the guys I would want to go after are London, Abuka, Jefferson, and Rashee Rice.
Kittle might have to be the trade piece. If you've been 6-1 with Hunter Henry, maybe Kittle is the trade piece.
I think, yeah.
Just on name value alone, you might be able to.
But Kittle's a nice piece to have. He's gonna be consistent down the stretch there. But yeah, I mean, I would say London, Jefferson, you might be able to get too. I mean, he really hasn't been doing much. You could probably pull off Jefferson, right? Just some names out there for you, buddy. Hit us in the comments. Let us know what kind of offers you get. We'll give you some more advice on that. Joe, we're gonna make it under 3 hours and way before 3 a.m. this show, as we're got through all the games. Let's recap your picks for this week. San Francisco, Houston under 41.5. James Cook anytime touchdown.
Can I add something to that?
Sure. You add it while I look up the anytime touchdown prop.
James Cook, 80 plus yards as well. The 80 plus yards is plus 120. So I don't mind doing a 2-leg parlay with
80
him.
plus
Russian yards.
Yards. Okay.
Yeah, he's averaging just under night. He's at like 89.3 rushing yards per game going against Carolina defense. We expect Buffalo to kick their ass and James Cook to be heavily involved.
James Cook anytime touchdown is minus 160. You want to level it up to 2+ or plus 300? Or no?
Yeah, but include the 80 rushing yards.
All right. So we'll do minus 160. We'll do James Cook plus 300, 2 touchdowns. I actually like that. Plus 120, you said?
Yeah, plus 120 for the 80 rushing yards.
Hunter Henry over 3.5 receiving yards. Drake May over 26.5 rushing yards. Atlanta minus 7. Tyler Algier 50 plus rushing yards plus 135. Bijan 50 plus receiving yards plus 185. And then J.K. Dobbins and Cortland Sutton parlay anytime touchdown plus 360.
Yes, I like that.
All right. And then I got and also, well, I'll say it at the end. But all right, I got Bills minus 7 against Carolina. Kincaid over 36.5 yards minus 118. Ramondre anytime touchdown minus 120. Ravens minus 7. Andrews over 34.5 receiving yards. Andrews anytime touchdown plus 160. The 2 is plus 900. But Joe kind of talked me out of it with the likely might get a little more involved. I could see that too. Likely maybe anytime touchdown prop is not a bad one either. Derrick Henry, 2 touchdowns plus 250. I think his 1 touchdown is minus 190. Henry over 89.5 rushing yards. Caleb to throw a pick minus 110. Miami at Atlanta. I'm taking Atlanta minus 6.5. With Joe, or or minus 7. We'll just call it 6.5 for both of us. London over 65.5 receiving yards. Rashad White anytime touchdown minus 120. Tez Johnson over 44.5 receiving yards. And Dallas plus 3. Titans Colts over 46.5. And then I think I'm going to take I was going to take Pittsburgh, but I'm going to fall off that. Although I like freaking Sunday Night Football at Heinz Field. That does feel good. But Joe kind of talked me out of with all the matchups the Packers have. Now, Jordan Love still has to play well. Like, he definitely could play like shit. TJ Watt could eat him alive. TJ Watt's kind of due for a big-time game. But I'm going to go the over in this game, 45.5. I don't think we got anything for Monday Night Football. No props? Nothing. Let me see if we could find one here.
Guy Jack gave us some context, and I think he should go for Bill in with this instance. Have you take a look at the comments?
He says he has Hurts, JT, Bijan, AJ Brown, Sutton, Hunter Henry, Judkins, 1 flex, PPR bench, Keenan, Worthy, Myers, Ramondre, Vidal, Ingram, Algier, Trevor Lawrence, 10-man. Should I trade upward? Should I trade to upgrade? Wide receiver, tight end, 4-3 record. Was thinking trade Vidal for Bill because I don't need Vidal and I want to get rid of him while he's hot. But I hear what you guys are saying. Either way, they're probably bench pieces. He's 4-3. Those schedules great for Vidal though, and Bill's schedule sucks. But yeah, you have JT, Bijan.
He's got
yeah. You really don't need him. But why do you need Bill though? Do you need Bill?
I know. This is true. This is true, right? Maybe trade Vidal for a depth piece at wide receiver. I mean, who's those wide receivers? AJ Brown, Sutton, which is mediocre in a 10-teamer, I guess. Keenan Allen, Worthy, Myers. Yeah, it's tough to figure out when you want to start Worthy too.
Hold on 1 sec here. 1 sec. Just want to bring this up.
It's really to look your best.
More beautiful each day. With silky, sexy,
Wow,
shiny
look at this
hair.
commercial. Holy shit.
Make Vidal Sassoon shampoo part of your
We don't look good, we take pride in you. If we don't look good, we don't look good. Vidal Sassoon.
There you go, bro.
Vidal Sassoon.
Do you remember the freaking? Did you used to get the Mount Airy Lodge commercials when you were growing up in the Poconos? You may have not. You may have not
no.
got that because that was kind of like a New York spot for people to go to. But that was
Yeah.
like a famous '80s commercial they used to always play. But yeah, I don't know, man. You know, I don't think you need Bill. I like Vidal's schedule, but you don't really need Vidal either. You're stacked, so.
If you're gonna upgrade at wide receiver, it's probably gonna cost you. I would maybe shop Judkins around, see what you can get for Judkins, and then use Vidal as like an emergency piece. I don't. You got a lot of running back depth there, so
Yeah, now you got a nice team there. 4-3. You want to get the W this week. Keep it rolling and get into the playoffs because it's going to be tight. I know there's some leagues like teams are like 5-1, or 6-1, 6-1, 6-1, and there's teams that are like 1-5, 1-5, 1-5. It's just or 1-6. It's like there's no in between. It's either really good teams or really shitty teams. So you got to keep winning.
I would also find out when exactly the trade deadline is, because if you do consider shopping one of the running backs to tear up at wide receiver just to make your lineup completely stacked, you want to do it as close to the trade deadline as possible, because sometimes running backs can get hurt. And then that's where that third running back, having a strong third running back really helps. So you want to wait as close to the trade deadline as possible if you're going to shop a running back. That's my advice on that, because then there's just less of a window for tragedy to happen. If you make the trade now and then, God forbid, next week be Jonathan Taylor or Bijan, something happens to them, or you trade Jonathan Taylor or Bijan, and you got like two real nice pieces in return or whatever, and in one of the guys you didn't trade gets hurt, then you hurt yourself there. But just something to keep in mind if you're going to shop running backs.
Yeah, I would say go for a receiver if you're going to trade for anything, or a tight end too, like you said, either one of those. But that's going to do it. Thanks for the questions, everybody. If anybody's still lingering in the chat, we'll answer your question before we get out of here. We'll see how we do with the picks this week. Next week, I think Joe might be his last week with us on the late night show. So we'll update our picks after this week and we'll see where we're at. But Joe, thanks again for hopping on. Late night show here, 2:18 in the morning, about 2.5 hour show. Anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
Just check out, I have a show on at the Sports Affiliation YouTube channel. It's a great platform. That's where you can find pretty much all my stuff. Go
follow him on X, and then you can get all his shows there.
Go subscribe to the Sports Affiliation. We get shows almost every day. There's one show directed specifically towards the NFC North. We have a Lions fan, a Bears fan. We have a fan for each team, and they do like a little 5-10 minute video. It's actually pretty cool. We have Snap, Crackle, and Pop. It's they give you an injury report. That's Snap. Crackle is guys that are outside the top 24 that are sleepers, and then Crackle is the guys inside the top 24 that are going to bust, and then Pop is the sleepers segment. That's also a quick 20 minute show. Real good, good stuff. All good info. Follow the Sports Affiliation. Subscribe. that's where my other podcast is. So
Yeah, and you can follow Joe on X. You'll get all that stuff as well. Follow me on X at Fantasy Savvy. But thanks to everybody. Jamie, maybe you're drooling on your keyboard. I don't know what you're doing, but thanks for joining us earlier on, Al, and everybody else, all the newcomers. Like, subscribe to the channel. We'll be back next week. Joe will be doing a Monday recap. I think we'll be doing that pretty much the rest of the year.
yeah, every week.
Yeah,
So got a nice little high stakes group. Me and three other high stakes players. We do a recap and of what we digested on Sunday.
Yeah, then once I'm done with baseball, I'll be jumping on that show probably about a little bit right before Thanksgiving. So, yeah, that's a good lot of good info on that show. So check that out on Monday at 6:00. All right, that's it, guys. Take care. Enjoy the games this weekend. All the best. God bless.